Okay, and we're live. All right, thanks for showing up, everybody. Unfortunately, I am the only one here at the moment. Okay, there we go. Hopefully the others will be along shortly. GC got caught up with chores. Ashton's running a little late from work, and we have no idea where Diane is. So we do not have the intro we were really planning for. But to reward those of you who showed up early, I have in my hand here. Ash, settle down. My cats are ridiculous. Anyway, I have in my hand here an official form letter from my job. This is the cease and desist order that is in the title. This is absolutely ridiculous. I got this early at work. There are probably rules against me talking about it, but they made the mistake of annoying me, so fuck it. Basically, I've been accused of using my station to promote my channel at work, which I'll say right off the bat is a lie. I mean, quite frankly, if they wanted to do anything to me, one, they don't have the grounds to, and two, the operations directive that I'm accused of violating in this is the wrong one. So they're going to have to do a lot better if they're going to try to get me in trouble. Never piss off a smart writer. What I am very amused by, though, is, and I'll check chat in a minute here. What I'm very amused by here is how poorly written this is. Of course, I was going to go through the whole thing as soon as they gave it to me and just break it down for inconsistencies or untruths or things like that. The problem with this is, even if they did try to enforce this and get me in trouble for it, they would be fighting an uphill battle per their own rules. To quote this, though this notice is not disciplinary and makes no findings as to whether or not there was any actual misconduct, you are hereby directed to cease and desist from promoting a YouTube channel or any private enterprise at work, especially to any subordinates and or immediately family members of subordinates per federal ethics rules. So it's admittedly, it's opening up by stating, we have no evidence that you're doing this thing wrong, but stop doing this thing wrong. So that's the level of integrity and professionalism that is abound at my job. I'm constantly, wow, we've got a lot of people here today. 51. That's
So hi, how you doing?
Oh, Ashton. Ah, good. There you are. So it's not just me now. Good. Yeah, so to wrap that up, they can try to get me in trouble. There's nothing they can actually do. Anyway, Ashton, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing just fine. A little bit tired for what should be obvious reasons to you. But yeah, on the whole, shape. Okay,
That's good. Now, normally we like to plan out what our topics are beforehand. Unfortunately, since everyone was running late, Ashton, what do you think? Should we discuss the plans for the Jumper episode or the Full Metal Alchemist episode?
Ooh, that might be fun, yeah. Like, in terms of the Jumper episode, that one is making its way towards completion. It is almost there. I've been getting a little bit ambitious with it, doing a lot of audio work that I haven't been doing before that I really wish I've been doing more of. So I already sent some to Kyle, some of the samples, and like finishing up one of the deleted scenes so I could include it in there, and also one effects kind of thing, which quite frankly I never want to do those effects again. So
yeah, the stuff actually is looking really good so far. I'll just say, actually, Ms. Ganymede, there is a Star Wars joke in there, and that's one of the effects that he sent me. We actually have myself and another actor kind of clash in a minor way with lightsabers. The problem is the lightsaber I got was a little cheaper than I expected, and it didn't light up. So Ash was able to fix that, and now it looks legitimate.
Oh, kind of. I had to look up how to do that effect, and oh boy, that was a slow and arduous process with a lot of rotoscoping.
I had to do the same thing with my Twilight review and the fight scene at the end. It was a pain in the ass. At least you weren't trying to rotoscope black gloves over a black trench coat.
Black gloves over a beg pardon?
Oh,
I think I might have missed that episode. My bad.
don't worry about it. We're going to be doing much better in the next season closer. But let's see. Dante's Inferno actually should be out later this year.
That'll be fun.
And the 50 Shades review, originally I wanted that to be the 100th episode special. I have replaced that with something else, which will be revealed at a later time. The problem is Slade kept bothering me about getting that review out, which I think was for the best because we ended up gaining like 1,500 subscribers thanks to that review.
And I definitely say it's one of the best ones that I've worked on. It was a miserable experience editing it, but I am very, very proud of the outcome.
Oh, the end result was fantastic. Ashton definitely outdid himself there. That was absolutely glorious to behold. And everyone seemed to enjoy it so far. So I think we're doing pretty good there. But yeah, the more observant ones of you will notice the Full Metal Alchemist manga in the back there. We are set up for
it finally came!
that.
Hooray!
No, actually, okay. So the majority of those I actually had to pick up at my local bookstore. Fun story here. So I went on Amazon to buy the box set, the entire box set for Full Metal Alchemist, and all 27 volumes. You've got 8 volumes over there. I've got one over there on my nightstand. But I was going to have the whole thing set up in the back there. It was apparently coming in from England, but that was the cheapest option I had. So, oh boy. And then earlier this week, I come home from work and there's this box, giant box, sitting at my front door that says British Royal Air on the outside. Little unusual. Wasn't expecting that. So I take that upstairs. I open it up, and lo and behold, it's the manga that I didn't order. I didn't get the Full Metal Alchemist manga. Do you want to know what I got? Naruto. This is not what I ordered at all.
Shipping fuck up no jutsu.
I mean, look, I've got 27 volumes. I ordered 27 volumes, and that's what I got. I mean, this is the good part of Naruto. This is before the time skip where everything gets all fucked up. But still, little peeved that I didn't get what I ordered. Fortunately, I'll be sending that back on Monday, and I'll be getting a full refund, apparently.
Well, oh, you're sending it back?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I thought it would make a nice consolation prize for everything fucking up for you.
Well, the only other thing I would do with it is I would like give it away in a prize or something. Like, hey, the 20,000th subscriber gets this manga that I don't want. Frankly, I'd rather just send it back and recoup the cost.
Ooh. Yeah, that sounds like the smarter thing. I don't know. If I were you, if I were in your shoes, I would just say, hey, that's a good excuse to have something else added to my giant collection.
Well, I don't know. Maybe if they make a live action
movie.
Have they done that? I'm not aware of one.
I don't think so. I guarantee there's been at least one musical, but probably not a movie.
God, there are how many Bleach musicals? Like 10?
Oh my goodness.
Ridiculous.
I remember how surprised I was when I found out there was a Death Note musical. I actually really liked it. It's a very fun musical.
I might have to check that out at some point. Actually, speaking of live action, have you seen the new trailer for the Bleach live action movie?
I have not. I take it that it was absolutely thrilling, did marvelous justice to the source material, and that you are just so pumped for the release date. I can see it in your eyes, the sparkle that
Uh,
entered it when you talked about it.
I am on the edge of my seat. I can't wait. And it's being handled by a solid crew. Apparently, it's being made by the same guys who made the Full Metal Alchemist review live action movie.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't that bad. It
Okay.
was just really mediocre.
Wait, are you talking about the Full Metal Alchemist movie?
Yeah.
Let me put this into perspective. Most of my scripts are about 10 pages long. We're 9 pages into the script now, and I'm about 50 minutes into the movie.
I'm so excited.
It's
that was
over 2 hours long.
over 2 hours. Ooh, I was thinking like 90 minutes. Oh, you were talking about the movie. Okay.
You haven't seen the movie yet?
Oh, no. I've definitely seen the movie. You remember I was sending you all the messages about it. I was thinking about the. I thought you were talking about the episode length. My apologies. I thought you were saying it's going to be over 2 hours, and I'm saying, oh my god.
This will definitely be one of our longer episodes. I'm pulling out all the nitpicking that I possibly can on this.
Yeah. Like
Um,
I was I was trying to get Kyle to almost do like a Plinkett level review of that movie because I feel like as much as there is so much to talk about regarding the movie being bad, there is also a whole hell of a lot to talk about regarding the source material being just fucking awesome. And I feel like I would love as many opportunities to get that in there as possible. And the more in depth we go, the more room there is for comparison. And the more comparison we pull off, the more we can do, um, well, regarding showing off how great the original is. We can express as much positivity as we do negativity. And especially in the current climate of internet movie reviews where everybody is just, this is the worst movie. It made me want to eat my children. Something like that. So I feel like it would be refreshing to have a little of both. It's kind of like the best of both worlds. We have a movie that is absolutely terrible, and we have a manga that is absolutely wonderful. That has some a fantastic anime with fantastic animation that we can pull on and draw upon to go really in depth with the comparisons to the source material, and so much beautiful music that I can use throughout the video.
Oh, and anyone who thinks that I don't compare the movie and the book enough, I'm comparing the two in just about every single paragraph that I write. The only ones where I'm not, or where I stop and pull back a minute to talk about some sort of an element of writing or writing in general. It's like, well, when you're talking about characters of this sort of a nature, you got to make sure that you're emphasizing the more sinister nature, like their appearance and their, that kind of a thing. So there's the things that the movie is missing, the things that the movie has screwed up, the things that the movie isn't doing right. All of that will be compared to stuff from the manga, or more accurately from Brotherhood, or well, both. But it should be a lot of fun, I think. The one that I'm also really worried about is Bleach, because someone in the comments brought up Death Note earlier. If I were to discuss, actually no, I would say that Death Note is both a better movie and a better adaptation. As bad as that movie was, it angers me less than what I've seen with this. There's no energy in the acting. They can't.
There's too
They
much.
bring up. Actually, you say
Like
something?
Winry.
Like Winry.
Oh yeah, so much.
Ed.
Too much.
Ed gets called short, and he never reacts to it. And that's one of the things. The movie brings up these jokes and these references from the manga, but it doesn't carry it through. It's like you set up the joke, and then you just let the punchline dust off in the wind or something. It's why even set it up at that point?
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Oh, it looks like we have company.
Hey, GC. There he is.
We can see your beautiful face.
Hi.
We're just complaining about the Full Metal Alchemist. Full Metal. I cannot talk fast tonight. Full Metal,
Alchemist.
Ah.
Full Metal Alchemist.
Actually, we're gonna have to introduce some mid-credit rolls where you're doing that.
Oh, that'll be so much fun. The book was better. That'll be fun.
In case you're wondering what the glass in front of me is, it's been a long week.
Is it Bleach?
Is it Jack and Coke?
Jack and Coke. The only way I'll drink Coke.
Coke is bad for you.
Coca-Cola sucks in general.
Ray Ray saying nice things about my voice. Thanks, Ray Ray.
Yes, he does have a very sexy voice.
Everyone's jealous of Ashton.
I know. I'm living the dream.
Voice makes people sit there and go get hot and bothered, man. Didn't you know that? That's how he gets all the customers when he at his job. He looks and goes, "What would you like to order?" And they sit there and everything on the menu.
Well, I will admit, I am regarded as the best in customer service up in Qdoba for all that's worth.
That ain't much.
it's worth like 12 an hour. Plus overtime.
Mandatory overtime?
It's been almost kind of mandatory for a while.
That sucks, man.
You should see my work right now.
Uh-oh.
Mandatory overtime is almost mandatory.
So is it mandatory or is it almost mandatory?
Almost mandatory. They've started offering Sundays, which means they're getting ready for Mando.
Well, we don't have enough staffing, so they're begging us for overtime.
Oh yeah, I was there just a couple weeks ago. We finally hired more people, and now we're all working overtime to train them.
It's ridiculous.
Oh,
GC, I can top you because I got hit with a cease and desist letter.
Oh fuck! What'd you do?
Nothing. That's the problem.
Okay, so we might have uploaded the entire Death Note musical to the channel and nobody noticed. It was kind of unfortunate.
What? The shit.
In case you can't tell, I am lying.
Real quick. Hello, 384 Pokemon.
Okay, they didn't ask you to say hello. They asked you to say hi. Get it right.
Oh, well.
Are you going to break their hearts? Are you going to break their hearts, Kyle?
Yes. So I'm a terrible person.
You bastard.
And go fuck
Why
a
don't you
duck.
love your vians? What?
I said go fuck a duck. Or go duck a fuck, whichever you prefer.
Anyway, so Infinity War is coming up soon. Who's looking forward to that?
Cold Coffee Gag Productions. Where is the pie for us to notice?
I'll notice you all the pie in the world. I'll notice you so much pie, you'll get sick of it. So sick of it that you're going to say to me, Ashton, stop noticing me some pie. I've had so much pie, I've gained 50 pounds since we met. You need to stop. Right.
Now. Ridiculous.
The fun.
Yeah. So yeah, in terms of Avengers Infinity War, that will either be the best movie of the Marvel Cinematic Universe or it will be the one that is so big it comes crashing down as their first major misstep. I have no idea what it's going to be. I am super excited to find out.
So in other words, you're saying it's either A, going to sit there and turn out absolutely awesome, or B, it's going to be Justice League Part 2.
I probably would have gone for...
I don't think it could be as bad as Justice League, because Justice League rushed everything way too hard.
I got to admit, I kind of love Justice League. It's a terrible movie, but it's a cute, terrible movie. I just kind of want to give that movie a hug, you know? Just give it a hug, pat it on the head, say, "That's right, Justice League. You did try."
Actually, just pulled up the director.
But you did try.
The director is Joe Russo, and he's done The Winter Soldier and Civil War, so I think...
shouldn't it be the other Russo in there, too?
Yeah, Anthony Russo, too.
Yeah. Yeah, Civil War was good. Winter Soldier was excellent. I described it as like an American James Bond movie almost. I really loved it.
I think my favorite scene in that movie, one of my favorite scenes in that entire movie is when Steve Rogers is in the elevator with the, I think, 6 agents. And
yeah.
Sure you guys want to do this? Get out now.
Yeah, that was just a really damn good movie. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I like the smaller moments, like when he was when it showed his list of all the things he had to catch up on in pop culture. That little notebook.
That was a nice touch. That's something that Marvel's been able to do really well. It's just the small, consistent touches with their characters, and I think that's what really makes them stand out, especially above DC, where you've got
Warner
Batman
Brothers
making jokes.
Yeah, like if Warner Brothers were in charge of Marvel, then Captain America would still, to this day and for the next 10 years, be saying, "What's that? I don't know. I'm from the 40s. I don't get your references." But no, they're actually doing continuity with their running gag about him. He's actually looking into this stuff and getting caught up, and so they're kind of retiring the joke because he's getting caught up. He is now a man. He's no longer a man out of time. He's catching up with the time. There's a bit of character development there. Yeah. And he's also losing some of his idealism, too, in that he's losing his naive, blind trust in those above him, which was evidenced in Winter Soldier and reinforced in Civil War when he became a rebel instead of the big right fist of the U.S. government. He became an outlaw and a rebel against the U.S. government, which was a nice continuation of his disillusion with modern times. As
follows in the comics themselves, too. It followed the same path.
Yeah, and they're doing a wonderful job with condensing that lengthy character arc over the course of a handful of movies. It's actually quite nice. Yeah. And what's his name? I forgot his name. The actor?
Chris Evans.
Chris Evans, yes.
He recovered from being he recovered from the horror that he was.
Yeah. I think he's doing a very marvelous job with the character. He's
Dum-dum.
You son of a bitch. You're so lucky we're in a different state right now, so I don't really even want to bother hunting you down. But otherwise, anyhow, so he does a really marvelous job with the character. He plays it very well with a lot of sincerity, and it's almost Superman-ish. Like he's playing. It's almost like he's playing Superman, but he doesn't have the red ass. He doesn't have the powers, but he has the heart that Superman has. That thing that everybody forgets about when they talk about him.
Ganymede, you're right. It would be the end times if DC was the one doing character development. We almost hit character development with Wonder Woman, because that did have some character development in it, and it was good. We almost hit end times, but then they sat there and fixed that with Justice League.
Yeah. It's like just suddenly, we haven't mentioned Steve Rogers for 5 minutes. Quick, get Batman to say something mean.
You're right.
Yeah. And We look over at Marvel, we have all these little character details for all of these different characters to flesh them out, to give them vibrance and life. And DC's Justice League, what did they give to the Flash? He doesn't like brunch. He doesn't get it. He doesn't get brunch.
But with brunch, you get cantaloupe, and it's delicious. I haven't seen the whole of Justice League, I admit.
I haven't seen Justice League at all, so hey.
Because, I mean, I've seen a few clips, but frankly, I don't care. Now, what I will say in DC's defense is their animated movies are a lot of fun.
I read Cold Coffee's comment.
What?
I read Cold Coffee Gag's comment.
Yeah. And of course we think about dad ass.
Da 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 da, super ass. Da 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 da. I'd hit it.
I just got the new Suicide Squad movie they made, and it's a lot of fun. It's
Cold Coffee Gag is on one tonight, man. And I love it. Flash. Savior of the universe.
Yes, again. I mean, keeping up with that. I mean, have you seen Captain America in literally anything? He poses on the posters like a girl.
And I think we're ruining Kyle's day.
no, you're good. I'm just sleep deprived.
It could be worse. We could be having a snow day.
Just like Naruto and Hinata.
Okay, now you're ruining my day.
Yeah.
That's turning into your catchphrase. It's going to be Kyle Martin's new catchphrase.
It's gonna delete that from the internet.
Already have it
Don't
saved
you
on my
dare.
hard drive.
You asshole!
It was actually extremely easy for me to find it, I gotta say.
It was great.
Well, I
took
took no effort in
literally-
hiding it.
It took literally 3 seconds for me to find it, you know? Like, you'd think it would have at least gone missing by now. Like, it would have slipped away.
Nope.
But no, you still use the same username and everything.
Mine is a little bit harder to find.
Yeah.
Well, I've got that all saved anyway, so.
I've got a fuck ton of bad fan fiction hidden somewhere on the internet, which I dare you to find. If you can find it, I will be so impressed with you. But yeah. If anybody here is curious about Kyle's fan fiction, it's literally a Google search away.
Just go to fanfiction.net and type in Crimson Rogue.
Or they could just, join the Patreon and watch us read it.
Okay, yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
I remember reading the epic tale of Naruto and his grand duel against the narrator.
That was
Yeah.
fun.
If I'm going to have to be humiliated by my old writing, I might as well get paid for it.
Okay, so yeah, everybody, you can find that on the Patreon page. And also, you will find me reading the first 2 chapters of Master of the Universe, the fan fiction for Twilight that was eventually adapted into the best-selling novel, 50 Shades of Grey. Yeah.
That was surprisingly difficult to get through.
Yeah, I kind of wrecked my voice doing that because I decided to give Bella Swan a gruff voice.
Sounded right.
And what did you do with Edward again?
Oh, well, I decided that he would be this sort of kind of
Twink.
submissive little bitch boy, you know?
He was
Which,
a twink. Get it right.
yeah. And, it really contrasted well with the character that was written for him. So, and all the times when he was being dominated came out more like passive-aggressive, you know? It was kind of funny. I had a lot of fun.
That works out.
Oh no. Verne Troyer, known for Austin Powers' role, has died at 49.
Hmm.
Yeah, I saw that earlier. That's unfortunate.
And Elijah Jackson, we will be more than happy to talk about an Artemis Fowl book series when they make a movie out of it.
Unfortunately, I don't know that much about Artemis Fowl, either because of the book or because this is actually the first time I'm hearing about them making a movie. So,
like, I grew up reading those books. I had so much fun with those. The first book is all about this genius billionaire kid who kidnaps a fairy and holds her for ransom. And it shows him trying to outsmart every single weapon in their arsenal to get their people back without having to pay him off.
And it doesn't work.
Yeah, it's really clever. It's a really enjoyable sort of fantasy heist kind of thing where they have you rooting almost for the bad guy, and it's so much fun. I really enjoyed it as a kid. They wrote so many sequels. The author also wrote a 6th installment into the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series. I quite enjoyed it.
now, when you say bad guys, are you talking about Artemis?
Like, Artemis Fowl is clearly the bad guy here, in the first book anyway, because he was kidnapping someone and holding them
He's
for
a
ransom.
legitimate villain in the first book.
Yeah. In the rest of the series, it does develop so that he becomes a more heroic figure, and that is, again, there's good character development there, and they really expand upon the world and worlds in other books. I think the last one I read was I think the 5th one, I want to say. It's been a long time. A long time.
Yeah, right.
But I really enjoyed them. And if they made a movie out of that, I would be so on board for that. I would be so excited. If it was handled by the right people. The first one. It would be like, it would kind of be like
Definitely
Lord
not
of the
whoever
Rings
did
meets Die Hard.
Aragon. Definitely
What?
not whoever did Aragon.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
But seriously, though, could you not imagine Lord of the Rings meets Die Hard as being something fucking awesome? And that's pretty much the first book. I would love to see that adapted into a movie. Again, with the right crew.
I mean, frankly, if you just want a book adaptation done right, just get Steven Spielberg and his crew on it.
Yeah.
Nice.
I've heard a lot of good things about Ready Player One, and I mean the book, and I've heard a lot of bad things about Ready Player One. Sorry, I've heard a lot of good things about Ready Player One, the movie, and a lot of bad things about Ready Player One, the book. So if you can make a good movie out of a book that people aren't usually too keen on, then you've probably done something really damn right.
I haven't read
I think some of the hate that the book is getting is more of a stylistic thing, just because he meanders. Ernest Cline meanders when he's writing some of the things. I mean, there's a point where he has to get this, there's a point where he earns this coin, which becomes relevant later on in the movie. And in the movie, it's, hey, I bet you this. Oh well, looks like you're right. Ding, there's a corner. In the book, it's this like 2-chapter long ordeal, and it just happens across the quarter, by happenstance. So it's condensed nicely. The characters are still consistent. The universe is very fleshed out and very real. The graphics are amazing. People keep texting me, and I think he did a lot of things right. Few changes from the book, of course, but I still had a lot of fun with it.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I'm really glad that Steven Spielberg is keeping it up.
Whoa, according to Elijah Jackson. Hey guys, they are making an Artemis Fowl movie. It's being produced by Disney and is scheduled for 2019. And is being based on the first two. books, which kind of has me worried.
Combining two books into one, that it could work depending on how cleverly it's done, but it also might
You'd have
not
to do
work
it just right.
Yeah, and again, I am really in love with the concept of just doing the first book. Fairy Tale Die Hard. How is that not an awesome concept? Or is that the reason why they're doing the first two books so that they don't draw too many comparisons to Die Hard? Is that what's going on? I could see that maybe being the case. But man, if that is the case,
if I remember right, the second one was the one where he goes to save his father. If I remember right. It's been, like you said, years.
Yeah. Like, I can remember Butler's real name, but I didn't remember the thing about him saving his father. So that's weird.
Butler was awesome!
Oh, fuck yeah. But
Butler was a goddamn badass.
Oh, yeah. And that would be a tricky thing to adapt into film. Like, I almost feel like he would work better in an animated format because I can't think of very many real people who could match up to quite the bulk I always imagined for that character.
I know, right?
Like, unless you went up to the WWE or something and managed to find somebody about the size of Andre the Giant who could also act. That would be tricky. And Crow Song, we're not spoiling all that much. It's okay. You can relax.
We're professionals at this. We know how to avoid spoilers.
Yeah. I mean, for the most part, most of it is because we can't even remember what we're trying not to spoil.
Ganymede, did you really make that reference? Really?
Oh dear.
Ganymede said Butler is one hell of a butler.
I know. Well, he simply is.
Okay, I've got the IMDb page up here. I have no reference for who any of these characters are, but Judi Dench is apparently playing Commander Root. Josh Gad is playing Mulch Diggums.
Ooh, that's interesting.
I'm not terribly familiar with this guy.
Nonso Notzi.
Yes, playing Butler.
Oh yeah, he'll do. Yeah, I'm looking at a picture of him. He definitely has just the right bulk for it. I'm looking at that guy. I could definitely see him playing the part just right.
Wait, Artemis Fowl 2. Is there a clone or something?
I don't know. Maybe it's like a... Oh, I think that's Artemis Fowl the Second.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no context for any of this.
Yeah, storyline. Artemis Fowl II, a young Irish criminal mastermind, kidnaps the fairy Holly Short for ransom to fund rescuing his father. Once a transaction is made, hunt for the evil pixel Opal Cowboy and rush to save Artemis Fowl Sr. from the... Kidnaps the fairy LEP recon officer. Get it? Holly Short for ransom. What?
The director's Kenneth Branagh.
What the hell? Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. Now I'm interested.
I will take it. Even if it's bad, it's going to be enjoyably bad. It's going to be. It's going to be like, oh god, I'm so okay with this. I am so okay with this.
Oh,
I loved Murder on the Orient Express. It's not a great movie, but I really enjoyed it. Like, the mustache was so incredible. It was so Kenneth Branagh. That mustache alone. Just, how do you think Kenneth Branagh would do the Poirot mustache? He looks at two equally great mustaches and says, I like them both. Let's put one literally on top of the other.
I know. I have yet to see the Murder on the Orient Express. I want to, but I haven't seen it yet.
I hadn't seen the original, but the remake they just made is a lot of fun.
There are so many originals. There's the one with Peter Finney, not Albert Finney, not Peter Finney, Albert Finney, which I actually really like that one. That's easily the best one.
Yeah, I forgot that.
Yeah.
Kenneth
yeah.
Branagh was Lockhart.
Oh yeah, that too. He wasn't a director in anything involving Harry Potter, but it was nice to see him in that. I kind of got into Kenneth Branagh after I had seen all the Harry Potter movies so many times that I forgot what Lockhart really looked like. So when I went back and watched Chamber of Secrets again after all those years, I was like, holy shit, it's the Shakespeare guy. That was so much fun.
I mean, Shakespeare is how I know him, of course. I've got Hamlet over there on my DVD shelf. It's 4 hours long, and I absolutely love it.
Apparently with that movie, they had trouble getting a studio to agree to make a 4-hour long Hamlet movie. And one of the stipulations that Castle Rock eventually gave them when they finally agreed was, this has to be a star-studded affair. You need all of the stars you can get in there. And so they did. They found big name actors for the tiniest of roles. Like when Polonius hires a spy to go and keep an eye on his son Laertes in France, you know, that whole subplot that you didn't know was even in Hamlet. Yeah, the spy he hired, the spy you forgot existed, is played by Gérard Depardieu, one of the greatest French actors.
Really?
Yes, he's played by Gérard Depardieu. And when Charlton Heston steps forward as the player king and delivers his speech about Priam and Hecuba, they fade back to ancient Rome to show Priam and Hecuba during the sacking of Troy. And you see, guess who's playing Hecuba? It's Judi Dench. Guess who's playing Priam? It's... what's his name? This is killing me. He's a fantastic actor. I'm gonna look at... John Gielgud. John Gielgud.
Hell, Robin Williams, according to Moriarty, Robin Williams also made a cameo at the end.
He did.
More so than any of the people I mentioned. He is much more prominent than literally any of the people I just mentioned. He is, you know that guy at the end of Hamlet who comes in and says, "Oh, by the by, this Laertes guy, he wants to have a duel with you. Do you want to do it?" Kinda. It's gonna look bad if you don't. Okay, I'll do it. And so he's that guy. He just shows up as that guy.
Yep.
Oh man. And you have Richard Attenborough. Richard Attenborough, and if you don't know who that is, think back to Jurassic Park. We spared no expenses. That's who he is. He shows up at the tail end of the movie to come in and say, "But deaf now are the ears that should have heard my good news. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead." And that's his only line.
I think the only reason we're talking about this so much is so Ashton can use voices for all these different characters and actors.
I know, right?
I kind of love that movie.
I want to see Ashton up on stage. It'd be amazing.
Oh, you missed your chance to see me in The Man Who Came to Dinner. That was so much fun. You ever hear of The Man Who Came to Dinner?
Negative.
Or the title.
Yeah, so a theater critic and playwright and radio personality and author and all this jazz named Sheridan Whiteside. He falls and breaks his hip at this wealthy family's house. And so, in an effort to not get him to sue them, they're allowing him to stay at their place until he's recovered. And they're just waiting on him hand and foot so he will not sue the shit out of them. And he is just lording it over them. It's basically a 2.5-hour one-man show with guest stars where he is just verbally abusing everybody and inviting all of his celebrity friends over to say hi. It is just so much fun. So there was me with my 800 lines, and this was from Moss Hart and George S. Kaufman, the people who wrote such classics as You Can't Take It With You, the film adaptation of which won Best Picture. Anyway, so here I was saying such lines as, "Will you get your hands off me? You have the touch of a sex-starved cobra." It's just so much fun. I think you can find the full Broadway production on YouTube starring Nathan Lane. Look that up and imagine me doing that. It's so much fun. I had such a great time. They did make a movie, but it was kind of toothless. They cut out a lot of little things that were not that big of a deal, but apparently they were by filmmaking standards of the day. And it starred Monty Woolley, who played the part on Broadway. So he was clearly struggling not to say the original lines. Like there's one bit where he's saying, "Why, that's Lord Bottom to his very bottom. That's Lord Bottomley down to his very bottom." But then in the movie, they couldn't say that because, I don't know, it was the 60s. No, not even, it was like the 50s. And everybody was absolutely stoogey. So there he was saying, "Why, that's Lord Bottomley down to his very fingertips." That little was in the movie because he just couldn't do it without fucking up. He just had to do the original line, and he had to stop himself every time.
I think we found a fanboy.
Which one?
Let's see. So tomorrow, just so everyone gets a heads up on this, tomorrow we'll be releasing a compilation video from the gaming channel, in what is just going to be an attempt to drive more traffic over that way, admittedly. But we're over on the gaming channel. I'll make this quick. My brother and I are releasing 3 videos a week now on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. We've just gone through this one game called A Way Out, which is this co-op prison escape game. A lot of fun. The game was actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be, and I had high hopes for it. But the ending alone, we're going to have to devote like a good 30-minute episode to. Anyway, so that'll just be something for everyone to check out for fun. Hopefully give us even more revenue with YouTube going the way that it is. And I will be
Moriarty is asking for the name of your gaming channel.
Yep, typing that up in the chat section.
Let's see. Let's see. There was one other thing that we were discussing quite heavily in our pre-stream chatting. Will we be bringing that into our stream today by chance, or are we just going to keep it to ourselves?
So, before I forget, in regard, who is, since we got off on a tangent and when we started talking about that, who is telling you to cease and desist?
Oh,
and for what?
Okay, I'll do a quick recap because I already did this at the start of the live stream. I got a cease and desist letter from work because I was falsely accused of using my position as a supervisor to encourage people to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I was just making fun of it because of how poorly written the letter actually was, and the fact that they referenced the wrong operations directive that I'm accused of violating.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Okay, so this is something I forgot to mention earlier. I was called up to the manager's office, and they read the whole thing to me. And by the end of it, I had them agreeing with me that this was a bullshit charge. So that's always fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, Ashton, I think. Oop.
I'm here.
Oh, I thought that was a bottle of ketchup at first.
No, it's a generic brand Dayquil. My throat's a little touchy right now.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It happens. I abuse my voice considerably.
More than I do, I think.
Moriarty, thank you for confirming that is your actual last name. Still just going to call you Moriarty.
Let's see, Ashton, of the discussion you were mentioning, Are you referring to that one
I
controversy?
think you know what I'm referring to. But
We
like
can
in
talk about
general, is this something that we really should be talking about to a great extent? Do
We
you feel
can-
like this is something we should bring up or just leave it off? Because I feel like a lot that can be said about it has been said.
Pretty much. I mean, the only thing to really add at this point would be our personal take on it, and the fact that I applied for them.
Okay,
I mean,
think
outside of
that gave
that,
it away right there.
yeah, outside of that, I don't think there's anything really new to add to it.
Yeah.
So, change the channel.
Hashtag
So-
change the channel.
So anyone not familiar with this, basically, this was a document that came out about 3 weeks ago by another YouTuber called Obscurus Lupa, who basically she and many other people who used to work at a group called Channel Awesome.
Actually, the document was compiled by Mars Girl, if I recall correctly.
Oh, I
It's
thought
just that Obscurus Lupa's was the first major contribution, and her testimony does take up a massive portion of the document when compared to everybody else.
Oh, my mistake. Lupa's
Yeah,
who I
it's
got it from on Twitter, so I just assumed that she was heading it. But anyway, so basically the document, and they've upgraded it since it first came out. I think they're up to like 74 pages now. 74 pages of complaints and documentation against the management of Channel Awesome, which is unfortunately where we got the Nostalgia Critic from. This has done substantial damage to the whole of Channel Awesome. Now, it should be pointed out that a lot of these are just unfounded or unverified accusations, so we shouldn't take them all at face value. But even if some of them are true, then that's really damning for the Walker brothers and for the CEO of Channel Awesome, Mike McChode. I know that's not how his name is not supposed to be pronounced, but I don't care. The guy's a douche. The thing that I think really needs to be considered is the effect that this is having on like their subscribers and their just how everything is progressing. They have been losing thousands of subscribers a day ever since this came out. I actually have the Social Blade up here now. The best day they've had, they only lost 1,225 subscribers. Yeah. For total for the last day, they're down 54,000. So
how does it feel to know that we're catching up to Channel Awesome in subscriber count?
Actually, it's funny because according to Social Blade, Channel Awesome is at a B+ rating, and the Book Was Better is at a B-. So we actually are catching up to them. Yeah, a little more, and we'll get there. But
another thing that's worth mentioning in all of this is the very poorly handled responses that Channel Awesome has put out regarding this instance. Like their first response, which was a very, very unfortunately worded apology, sort of apology.
I wouldn't
the
even
closest thing to an apology. Yeah, the closest thing to an apology that they had in that letter was the words, "With me now. We sincerely regret you felt that way." So then they put out a longer response, which I thought was going to be a bigger, more detailed one, where they were going to start. They used the word to clear the air. They described the people who compiled the document as vindictive former employees. They addressed 5 or 6 of the biggest major complaints in the document, ignored everything else, and did a very poor job of addressing those points, in some cases doing nothing but confessing to them, but still presenting it in the accusation fact format as though they were putting them down, which was just really badly done. And then they did such a horrible job that there was one part where they They narrowed down the time frame. There was a figure mentioned in the documents who we will not name, and nobody in the chat is going to name it either. Don't make a liar out of me, chat. Do not name this man if you know him. There was somebody who was accused of sort of grooming techniques, using those on his fans. It was a very unfortunate thing that happened, and he was basically he was making improper. Point is, this was brought to the attention of the people at Channel Awesome, and the accuser said it took them a year to get rid of the guy. And
I think that was the other.
No,
that was the other.
No,
sexual
no. This is the one. Because their response said, it did not take us a year, it took us 3 weeks. And then they showed the exact timestamps so that people knew which 3 weeks it was. And they basically made it so it was so much easier to figure out who it was that was being accused here. If you know who it is, again, do not say it in the chat. Keep it to yourselves. Everyone else, if you desperately need to know, you will find it if you haven't already.
The information's out there. It's very readily available.
They did a very poor job of keeping it hidden. And the reason they were keeping it hidden is because this was a beloved figure. And they didn't want to bring in the inevitable backlash against the victims from the channel initially. So
Back in a moment, guys.
No, you must stay here. You coward. Never leave. You belong to us now. Where are you going?
Yeah. Hi, guys. So sorry. I woke up from a really strong nap. So how long have we been on? How long have we been live?
About an hour.
I'm sorry. Okay.
It's okay. One out, one in. We're keeping it a triad, no matter what.
Yeah,
Hey,
exactly.
we need to change the name now.
Oh, yeah. So what did we decide on now?
I don't think we did.
Oh, okay.
Are we the Dinner Guild or the Second Breakfast Club?
I really want the Second Breakfast Club.
I kind of like the Dinner Guild, but I do appreciate the Second Breakfast Club.
Well, I've got a sketch on standby with my title card artist. If we go through with the Second Breakfast Club, we can have that or have something out before too long.
Okay.
I already sent you that. I already sent you guys that little mock-up that I did of like an almost fantasy poster-ish thing. You know, with the 4 people in the group shot.
Right. Yeah, no, I like that a lot. But so where I'm guessing where are we at right now in the conversation?
We're talking about guess what?
Yeah. I think everything's been said. But what have you guys covered so far other than the worst thing possible? Anything else?
We touched on that one without actually bringing up any names.
Good.
And I thank the chat for being awesome and not bringing up the name.
Oh, excellent guys. Good job.
Thank you for making our channel awesome.
Yeah, thank you for being decent people. It's the bare minimum, and you guys did it. It's hard, like I don't mean that sarcastic too, because it feels like the internet can't even do that most of the time. Yeah. So
most of the time,
it's such an easy thing to ruin for everybody that a lot of people just can't resist the temptation to do that.
Mm-hmm. Did we talk about like anything else about that document or like the grievances put out?
Only a very brief overview.
Yeah.
Frankly, I don't think there's a real need to go into too much detail on that because there are only 500,000 responses to that now.
Yeah. Exactly.
Just look up #change the channel and you'll find so much shit to wade through, and about 5 of those videos will be good.
Yep.
Most of them will just be literally nothing you haven't heard already.
I mean, frankly, just read the original document, and that right there is
Yeah.
all you really need to know.
But if you can't read, if for some reason you don't feel like reading that, you want an audiobook, Frederick Knudsen did a little reading on his live stream. He is unlisted out on his main channel, but he's uploaded that to his second channel, which I'm sure won't be that hard to find. So definitely look into that.
Yeah. I thought this would be like a good opportunity too to talk about like if you guys, anyone in the chat, if you guys are ever thinking of like doing some sort of like group project that involves like, yeah, any group project that involves like half a dozen people or even less than that, that involves like, I guess, filmmaking and whatnot. Just do basic, like, remember that, you know, especially when you're not paying these people and like it's on a very unofficial indie level, indie level kind of thing, like what me and Kyle does. Just remember to just take care of your team, you know, because you're asking them to volunteer on a project and you know, it does, and you don't have to like bend over backwards. Sometimes it's just as basic as making sure your people are safe and that you have food and water on standby if they need it. It's like really simple things like that. Like don't put them in danger and have water around, you know, like we don't live in a third world country, thank God. Like just have water on standby. Unlike, you know, unlike the you know,
Suburban Nights.
Yeah, unlike, yes, thank you, Suburban Nights, when they shot it.
Was it Kikassia? I think it might have been Kikassia.
Kikassia?
Kikassia was the real problem because they were filming out in the desert.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
The one where they filmed out in the desert and they didn't even have water on standby.
Yeah, Lindsay Ellis was saying, is there going to be craft services, like any food or drink, because this is going to be a long shoot? And Doug Walker's response was, okay, princess.
Yeah, and then, of course, when Spoonie, according to Lindsay, when Spoonie spoke up, that was when she was taken seriously or something. Like, I do find that kind of weird because, like, did Doug Walker ever go to film school? I remember it being said he at least took a few film classes or he went to film school. Does anyone really know?
I don't recall hearing anything about that.
Because I know Lindsay has, and like I know I went to a crappy film school myself. It wasn't like, it was only like a 1.5-year program, but even with that 1.5 years, they told us basic things like feed your team if you don't want it to result in a mutiny. But if like Doug Walker okay, yeah, no worries. If Doug Walker genuinely didn't know about that, I would forgive something like that, because you really did. You can really just tell that these were just a bunch of people banding together and flying by the seat of their pants. But you think that after, a few years, they would learn better management and basic things like pay for your team's food and everything like that. But yeah.
Well, judging by Doug's review style, I don't think that he really did much in the way of film school. I mean, it's possible. Maybe he just didn't apply the lessons very well. But I've been seeing a lot more.
So I just found out that I have to move my car right quick. I'll be back in about, I don't know, 5 minutes or so.
Drive safe.
Yep.
Watch for idiots.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Doug doesn't really go into much about like the technicals or camera angles or things like that. He just kind of gets a little histrionic about mistakes or bad choices that movies make, and that's about it. I mean, it's something that I try to differentiate myself, at least when I see something that's like objectively wrong technically.
Yeah.
This camera angle, like the Wrinkle of Time review, for example. I commented when they were going through the first city in Camazotz on the alien planet, the camera angle kept panning up kept aiming up at some of the kids as they were talking in front of that really awkward green screen effect. pointing out that one, that looks odd, and although they could have been going for a sense of displacement, the problem is that an upward angle like that generally denotes some degree of importance or power.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you're getting all of the meaning of it, because camera angles themselves have a meaning, and I mean, it's not just aim camera at actor and you're done. You got to have everything layered or aimed a certain way in order to tell the story properly.
Exactly. Yeah. With Doug's style of reviewing, like he obviously touched upon something big, because like everybody, including you and me, have stolen so much from him, right?
Oh, I will fully admit a lot of my early stuff was inspired by the Nostalgia Critic, and Ben of the Sage, Link Hara, Spoonie, all those sorts of people. I like to think that I've gotten to a point where I'm more of my own creator now, but the Nostalgia Critic was definitely an influence.
Oh God, yeah. Well, now with me, I'm stealing way too much from Lindsay Ellis, and I am trying to find my own voice. I'm hoping at the very least I don't know, any semblance of personality I have that's my own is coming out, but yeah, like I don't know, because right now, what do you guys think this is going to have any effect on review channels at all, in terms of the way people are going to conduct their style and writing and everything like that?
In the grand scheme, I don't think it would. I mean, it's brought attention to a lot of bad practices, so I think people are going to be more aware of issues with multi-channel networks, or just how to treat a film crew, or things like that. As far as reviewing at large, I don't think it's going to have a tremendous impact.
I hope not. Because like, even though Doug inspired so many people, I think what people need to realize too is there have been people doing, like Doug Walker himself, I'm pretty sure he was directly inspired by Mystery Theater 3000, right? Is that what it's called? Mystery Theater, Science Theater 3000, 2000?
Oh, mystery science fiction.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. He may have been inspired at some point. Frankly, I always saw Linkara as being much more inspired by them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or actually falls more into the science fiction thing.
Like, I don't want to. Well, okay. This is still just very much rumors. I want to. Yeah, this is still very much rumors. But like, what do you guys think about Doug Walker having left Channel Awesome?
I will make no official proclamation or announcement until I see something official from Channel Awesome or from Doug Walker himself. Frankly, I think at this point it would be a good idea for. I mean, at this point, Channel Awesome's image is so stained that only the most vitriolic of fanboys are going to stay with them.
Yeah.
The only, out of all of the videos, the dozens of videos I've seen pertaining to this, the only person I've seen who's even slightly defensive towards Channel Awesome is the gamer from Mars, and that guy has a lot of his own problems as well.
Right.
So a lot of people just call him boring and all that, and
Yeah. I don't like. Again, I'm not going to jump on any firm beliefs until more evidence more time and evidence has passed and come up. But what it says on Facebook is pretty damning, don't you think?
I mean, it's interesting, and I will like to see an explanation for that.
Yeah, that's like it kind of makes me think of like Occam's razor, that Like, that's
I'm back,
one
bitches.
hell of a computer glitch, one hell of a coincidental computer glitch that his Facebook page would say worked at Channel Awesome at such a, that's pretty good timing if it really is just a mistake and it hasn't been fixed yet. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
For those of you for context, Doug has apparently put on his Facebook that he worked at Channel Awesome, not that he currently works there. So a lot of people are drawing their own conclusions from that. Now, they did just release the American Tail 5 Goes West review, but the smart thing to do, and this is something that Ash and I are working on the show, is we're trying to create a buffer of videos. So that's probably
they've probably been holding on to that episode for a little bit of time. It's quite likely that they've got another one still to hold on to.
I would believe it if they had another video or two to go through, and then they make some announcement. Oh, yep, Doug's gone, we're out, or something to that effect.
Yeah, no, that's what I heard too, Ash. That what was it? They literally have like one more one more episode in their pocket, and then we're gonna get nothing after next week. But I guess only, like I said, time's going to tell. So this is just a waiting game. But like, quite honestly, I would not be surprised if this rumor was true at all, because that's exactly what I would do in a situation like this, is to just cut ties and lawyer up. Yeah.
Hey guys, remember the first time that Nostalgia Critic left and we were all sad?
Yeah.
And then that turned out to be a tremendous mistake on their part, and they were losing money.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then they backpedaled like hell and canceled the show that they were doing, which showed that our whole debate about whether or not Doug Walker had any film experience was, in fact, the most redundant thing ever.
Yep.
We all know he has never been to film school.
Yeah. It's okay. Like, you don't have to go to film school. It's just study up a little here and there, and
you just have to be smarter
and open your mind up to stuff. Like, especially, it always to me felt like he had some sort of film education here and there because of his taste in films. But like from what I hear too from a few people on that document, Channel Awesome had like almost a very anti-academic perspective. Like, if you actually brought up film theory, like, most of the other people would just look at you weird or funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it kind of shows a little bit. I'm gonna be right back, guys. 1 second.
Everyone's getting interrupted for one reason or another.
And we are a triad again.
I would say that I have to agree with Moriarty on this one. There's going to be an effect where people are going to be watching every reviewer working with their cast and crew. They're going to be watching us a lot more closely, a lot more cynically, and they're going to be watching us see, okay, are they actually treating their people well? They're going to be watching closely, and it's going to be that way for pretty much forever at this point, or at least a couple years. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. This means that people actually have to take care of their people now, and they have to be kept, and because now they know everyone's watching. Yeah, it's not necessarily the best way to go about it. People saying, hey, we've got Big Brother on our ass. We gotta make everything look good. Just because of that, though, that doesn't mean that's necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, and it's easy to do. I mean, we were out.
Action's the bitch.
I beg your pardon. What did I miss?
Hmm?
What'd you call me?
Love you, Ashton.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, like, for people who are even thinking about doing collaborations and whatnot, even think about just Googling, like, volunteer documents that you both of you can sign, like, just so you have, like, that agreement on paper to cover your ass in the future. Uh, but which apparently these guys never did. They never had contracts, right?
Well, they did apparently have one contract at
Uh-huh.
one point, which was shown in the rebuttal that they presented, but it was a very lackluster contract, like maybe a paragraph, and it was not a very nice contract either. Very
No, so do you think they
unforgiving.
wrote that up themselves, or
I think it does seem like the kind of contract they would give out if they suddenly realized, oh, wait, we're supposed to have contracts, aren't we?
yeah,
So,
especially for at least your administrative team.
yeah, they could have done so much better. They're hanging around there playing Media Mogul and not realizing that they're not big enough to get away with the shit that Media Moguls get away with. And they're not smart enough to do it either.
No, definitely not. Um, like Ash, I forget. Did you go to film school?
No.
Oh no.
Never went to
Okay.
film school.
No, I'm just wondering too, especially on like an indie level, um, on like indie level filmmaking, like what they did or what I'm trying to get into, especially like what do you do, where do you get those contracts and whatnot for people to sign the start packages, so people, for your team, so you can make everything official and legal and protect yourselves via that way. Again, I went to a really crappy film school, so they weren't that thorough with that part of the education. Yeah. But no, again, like, it's these things that I feel like, again, if you want to protect yourself, you need to just do a quick Google search, Just do a quick Google search, and even if
How
it is,
not to fuck everything up.
yeah,
The Channel Awesome story.
exactly. And even if you can't find any official looking contract, then you know what? Just, again, make something yourself and just communicate with your team, which apparently is what these people did not do. And
That
then
was the one thing they ever apologized for. At the very end of their rebuttal, they say, yeah, we could have been better about our communication, and we're going to be. We are going to keep moving forward and continue making our channel
yeah,
awesome.
exactly. But I'm going to be shocked if there's going to be more episodes into May.
Have you seen their content creator lineup? It is
Yeah,
Brad Jones,
yep.
Guru Larry, and archived shows. Hello, you.
Archive
And
shows.
Guru
Oh
Larry
my
is just there so
God.
he can troll.
He
Yeah,
is just having the time of his life. He's
Yes.
just
He's won the Hunger Games.
he is.
yes,
one that
he has
had-
won the Channel Awesome Hunger Games.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
just him and Brad.
Yeah.
Cold Coffee Secrets demands to know your secrets.
Yeah. Exactly.
Whose secrets?
How do
Your
you make the
secrets.
side of your hair stand like that?
The what?
The side of your hair is kind of standing up.
Oh, I don't know. I can't stop it.
Oh, you're like an anime character. That's adorable. I love it.
Quick, get him an oversized sword.
Which one? Which? Oh, there's a
Or a
few
school
anime
uniform, one or the
characters
other.
that have
I was
hair.
about to say.
Yeah.
Like, I could very quickly put on a button-up shirt and a tie if you like.
Why? Who would that emulate?
Oh, just
90%.
general school uniform.
90% of every high school anime ever.
Right.
Yeah. That said, my jackets don't look weird and sci-fi enough.
Mm.
So
All
it
you
wouldn't
need
work.
is a plain black blazer.
Yeah, I suppose, but let's move on.
Yes.
Enough of this.
Right. One of the other, I don't know if you guys have any points you desperately want to get to. One of the other things I'd made in the announcement video is discussing AwesomeCon and how much fun that was this year.
Right. Was that your first convention ever, Kyle?
Oh, no, I used to go all the time back in college.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Cosplay experience back then. it was my first convention in a long while.
Right.
And it was the first time I've gone to AwesomeCon. But,
And not in a Sephiroth costume either.
yeah, but I wanted to try to represent the show in some way, so I just went as Finn.
Nice. Yeah, was it like a big convention? Yeah.
It was pretty sizable. Not
Awesome
the
tends to get big.
not the biggest out there. I mean, it was, I think the biggest name we had there, arguably, was probably John Boyega.
Oh, who is he again? That John Boyega. You got John Boyega.
Oh, he was there. I didn't.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, Finn meets Finn.
The problem, that would have been funny, actually.
Yeah.
And I would have liked to get a picture of that, but there was a problem. See, there was a whole line of people who were various celebrities from all sorts. I really wanted to get a picture with Barbara Dunkelman from Ruby. Unfortunately, I couldn't stay that late. A lot of the celebrities were charging money for autographs and photos, which, whatever. That's the thing they do. Barbara Dunkelman was charging like $20 for a photo and $20 for an autograph. And some people were doing some of the things, $20, $30, $40, things like that. And then there was John Boyega.
Oh.
The most expensive photograph there was $50, except for Boyega, who was charging $200.
Jeez.
Star Wars, nothing but Star Wars.
Yeah. Just so we're clear, though, apparently this is what I've been told many times. The money doesn't actually go to those people. It's actually more for the convention. It's the convention that's charging money, from what I was told.
I question that because apparently a lot of the money goes to them, and that's how they make a lot of money on the side. The problem is, if it really did go to the convention, then why is there such a disparity between Boyega and everyone else?
I'm guessing because they can, right?
Give me those Star Wars. Don't let them end.
Like, oh my God, we have John Boyega. We can charge $200 or something a pop.
I mean, Boyega's not bad. The problem is he's been in one decent movie, one crap movie, and I've not heard a lot of good things about Pacific Rim 2.
Okay.
You just called The Last Jedi a crap movie.
Oh, shit.
Yes, I did. Shots fired. Fight me.
What do you mean in one decent movie? I mean, I guess that depends on how you feel about this.
Force Awakens was a decent movie. Last Jedi was not.
Oh my God, I so disagree with that.
I will fight you on
this. Guys. Before we start a fight,
Yeah.
how about we
This
move on?
always happens when we talk about Star Wars.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Star Wars is now more controversial than, I'm not going to say his name.
Yeah.
But here's a little meme that'll make you guys giggle.
Uh-oh.
A necromancer is just a really late healer. You're too late, Doc. He's already dead. Cracks Nichols. I didn't get my medical license revoked for nothing.
That's funny. John Boyega, he was in that, what's that movie? It had Nick Frost in it too. It's that alien movie, Attack the Block. I never finished watching it, but I hear it's a really good movie. That was the movie that kind of put him on the map before, the giant Star Wars fame came along.
And more, if they should bar wars,
Yeah.
please let these Star Wars stay.
Yeah. But other than that, like, did you see him at all, Kyle?
I did not see him. I did get to see Phil Lamar. He was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, Phil Lamar, he's classic. I love him. He's still working too, right?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, no, he's great, and he hasn't aged a day apparently. And he's still
good.
Yeah, he's great. But I saw a few famous people recently, actually. So for those of you who don't know, I work as a production assistant on a bunch of film sets, and I recently got picked up for a TV show called Yeah, and before that TV show, I again, oh, I don't know how much I can say. But anyway, I worked on the last episode of Riverdale, and I saw the whole gang. I saw all the sets. Unfortunately, I didn't go into Pop's Diner, but I saw I saw basically everyone. I was a PA for the very last episode of season 2, so the whole gang was there. Like everyone from the basic 4, like Jughead, Archie, Betty, Veronica, and then the entire gang. Josie from the Pussycats was there. Cheryl was there. Reggie was there. So yeah, that was pretty exciting. That was really cool. And apparently none of these guys know what Archie Comics is.
Archie Comics?
What?
When you say these guys, do you mean us?
Yes, you guys.
Archie Comics.
Everybody knows what Archie
What that
Comics is.
Yeah, but I made
All I said was that I wasn't very familiar with the actual interior details. I'd never really picked up and read an Archie comic, but
okay, yeah, but I don't know. I feel like you guys would know at least the love triangle, which is like their biggest selling point, and you guys.
Yeah, of course.
what, you mean Archie, Betty, and Veronica?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, I was just joking that these guys were like uncultured swines because they've never read a single Archie comic.
Says the Canadian.
Yeah,
Just-
yeah, says the Canadian. Exactly.
Gee, Kyle,
No,
racist.
what do I
question.
know? I just hack lumber all day long. What do I know about culture?
Oh, I'm American. I'm okay.
Damn Canada with their free health care.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, but yeah, so anyway, that was really interesting. And the show I'm working on right now, it's like a CBS show, but it also is on Netflix. It's called Salvation. It's what's it called? It's like a sci-fi drama. I think the government is trying to work on what they're going to do because the Earth is about to be hit by an asteroid. That's as far as I know. I've never seen the show actually, so yeah.
Oh, by the way,
I'm sorry?
I think everybody tried to talk at once.
Good. I just said I think it's really cool that you're involved in the industry like that. I mean, right now you're a step closer to maybe at least inadvertently winding up in a movie or a show than any of the rest of us.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, it is. It is pretty exciting right now. Again, I'm like a lowly PA. I'm at the bottom of the barrel, and a lot of what I do it's honestly just sitting around for hours on end. When they're doing like the filming upstairs and whatnot. But you know, everyone starts like exactly the same place when you're on set, right? And it's really just networking and just proving that you want to be there, even if it's like a 15-hour shift or if not longer. And yeah, just networking and proving your worth, and you show that you're a nice person to have on set, especially for 15 hours. So hopefully I'll climb up from there. This job, it only lasts the season. I believe they're filming till August. So after August, I'm going to be like hustling again and begging for work. But it is something. It's nice to finally have like a steady paycheck coming in. So yeah, that's been what is up with me so far. And yeah, you do get to talk to a lot of cool people. You can talk to camera people, grip people, the set deck people. They tell you some very interesting things. So yeah. Yeah, and apparently it's the exact same film crew that worked on the new X-Files set.
Cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
Jafar is trying to get me to do a reading of 50 Shades of Grey. It's never going to happen.
Yeah.
Involved in the last page.
Masters of the Universe.
Are people really still asking for that? Because come on.
Look, just say the words, "My inner goddess is exploding," and that'll give them everything they want from you.
Yeah.
I still have some lines written down. I can pull up some actual dialogue from the book if you want.
Oh God, please no.
I'll do it. I'm fucking crazy.
Well, while
Kyle,
he's doing that, a little
if
bit
you
of
do
news
it-
regarding the.
If you do it, I will start reading Hinata Snow Day.
Save that for the Patreon stream.
Oh no!
No.
If he brings it out now, I will do it.
The file is closed. Stop your threats.
Good.
We're gonna build a wall, and we're gonna make you pay for it, audience. Build that paywall.
Yeah. I was at a recent some time ago. Actually, this was yeah. Anyway, some time ago, I was at a film festival for short films in Vancouver. It's called Crazy Eights. It's like an annual thing that happens. Yeah, that happens annually, and it's pretty popular here. There was one of the short films I kind of like just for the more emotional aspects of it, but objectively, the short film, I don't know why they picked it, because the short film could have easily been read as Canadian propaganda. And I swear, if you had shown this to an American audience, it could have easily caused a riot, because the main character is like a former American soldier who works at the border, and then like, yeah, and the storyline is on his way home, he comes across two Muslim immigrants who's trying to sneak into Canada, and they're out freezing in the cold, and he helps them out. So that was the storyline. And then like there was one joke where he's like joking with his coworker, saying, talking about the issue, because in this film the Muslim ban is in effect, and the guy is all like, "Hey, I'm totally happy for these guys to be sneaking across Canada, because now we don't have to deal with them, right?" And the main character is like, "Yeah, but we need to keep an eye on them. That's the point." And his friend goes, "Oh yeah, hey, maybe we can build another wall at this border and make Canada pay for it." That I found that kind of funny.
And there was this right after Trump was elected, there was this meme that was circulating. It was a Canadian Mountie sitting on the back of a moose with a gun that said, "Canadian Border Patrols looking out for illegal Americans."
No, yeah.
Apparently,
Oh yeah, go on. Sorry.
a fun little fact, and the New Zealand immigration site crashed due to too many people visiting it right on the night that Trump was announced as the new president.
The New Zealand website?
Yeah.
I also
New
heard
Zealand immigration. Their website crashed.
No, I heard the same thing happen with the Canadian. Yeah.
I guess
We're not
everybody
going
watched
to
Lord of the
politics.
Rings and they're like, I want to live there.
Hey,
Yeah.
guys, I'm going to interrupt the politics real quick to say, look, it's my roommate's cat, Bandit the Rag Doll. Oh, and there he goes.
Oh yeah. Aw. Oh right, he has a ragdoll.
Yeah, he's got a rag doll. He's
Oh, he's gone. I had my glasses off.
sorry. He's adorable, but he's very shy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But yeah, that never really became a thing, did it? Like, I never heard of like too many Americans coming in, not enough to cause a ruckus.
They I don't think anybody really did. Just everybody really thought about it, and
Yeah.
nobody really did.
I mean, if it is happening, that kind of thing has to happen slowly, right? Not everyone has the luxury to just pick up everything and move to a completely different
He's gonna
country.
fall. Okay, he's getting annoyed.
Yeah.
I tried to show the cat again, but
Yeah, I saw him.
okay.
That's cute. I finally saw Ready Player One.
Oh, what'd you think of it?
Spoil nothing. I'm seeing it tomorrow.
Oh, okay. I won't say any spoilers. I thought it was good. I didn't love it, but I thought it was like just this big, fun, action, eye candy movie, and yeah, it was good. I didn't love it. I'm kind of neutral on it, but I had a good time. I'm glad I saw it, especially since it's one of those movies that has everyone talking in a way. I actually don't understand why there's so much like hate against it. I don't know if it's maybe the book Well, like I heard it was like split. Like either you really liked it or you really hate it or something. But I don't understand like the criticisms against the story. I guess some people thought the way they handled the female character was slightly sexist, but I think maybe that was more towards the book. I don't know, but
I think
yeah.
well, in the book, Artemis. Well, no. Honestly, it's been a while since I've read it. Artemis was much more stand out, do her own thing.
In the movie.
For a while, she actually pushed ahead in terms of the quest for the Easter egg and the keys and all that. And kind of left the main character in the dust. They kind of did the same thing in the movie. But.
I felt like there was like like from the way you were talking about it, Kyle, it felt like in the book there was a lot more back and forth and like maybe tension between Artemis and what's his name? Sorry, what?
Personal. There was definitely a lot more tension there in that they were definitely rivals, which the movie more or less dropped.
Yeah, right. I felt like, oh, these guys are getting along fine. And I felt, I really didn't feel any like weird, problematic, or backwards things about their relationship. If anything, she ends up saving his life. Way more. So yeah, I liked the movie. Okay, the performances were great. I had no idea Simon Pegg was in this movie. That was awesome to find out by myself.
He was fun.
Yeah, he was fun. And the guy who plays the genius character, Spielberg has used him twice now. He won the supporting Best Actor for Bridge of Spies, which was a movie I really loved, also directed by Spielberg. And then he was in the Big Friendly Giant. Yeah, so I liked him a lot. Richard Jenkins is his name. I just
that's a fun thing.
What?
Legendary Journeys, the Hercules show that was on years and years ago.
Oh yeah.
Aeolus, in the myth, he's one of Herc's male lovers, and it was Kevin God's Not Dead Sorbo who played the part.
Yep.
That was great.
Every time I think of Kevin Sorbo, I end up thinking of that recent Let There Be Light movie instead.
So is Kevin Sorbo?
You keep on preaching about the man in the sky, and I'm going to be preaching the gospel of sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Every time I see Kevin Sorbo these days and he's working for Pureflix, I just think, you used to be Hercules, man. I used to watch that show every night every week with my father.
Yep, I watched. I was a huge Hercules Athena fan too. I watched them. Yeah, pretty much every weekend. But yeah, so what? Kevin Sorbo, he specifically only focuses on Christian films now and like shaming people who aren't Christian.
He got a role with God's Not Dead 1. He played an atheist who wasn't really an atheist.
Of course, but then he gets hit by a car.
Yeah, it was such a straw man. It was like, why do you hate God? Because he took everything from me! Well, then you're not really an atheist if you believe in God, so...
And my favorite thing about that movie is the whole setup. Okay, the first thing you're going to do, you're all going to write down the words, God is dead, because we are not going to waste precious class time debating the existence of the big man in the sky. I can't do that, sir. I'm a Christian. Well, then you'll have to present your antithesis. For an hour at the end of each and every class, you will be allowed to spend the whole time, just you, talking about the big man in the sky.
Yeah,
that we just said we weren't going to spend all of our time talking about.
And the hilarious thing, too, is that every single student stays in that class. They don't drop it within the first hour of him making that announcement.
I think the best response to that came from the channel The Bible Reloaded, because they did a review of that movie, and they showed that scene. It's like, the first thing you're going to do is write down God is dead, and their immediate reaction to that is, well, you're fired.
Yeah. Because like that's illegal, right? Like for teaching, right?
It pushes boundaries that shouldn't be pushed.
Yeah, exactly. It is. Yeah, it's what class was this guy? Was that character teaching?
It was a philosophy.
Philosophy.
Oh God, I don't know if it was just like a really bad teacher I had the bad luck of having, but I took one philosophy class. I think I flunked it, and I was like, God, never again. But like I learned absolutely nothing in philosophy, and it was I don't know what kind of stuff we were talking about. It was so hard to follow. I thought I would flourish in philosophy, but I didn't. So, like, did you guys take it?
Philosophy, no. I did have a bad experience in a science class, and that's why I stopped focusing on science when I was a kid. The American education system, destroying your childhood and any potential careers for everybody.
Yeah, I think that's just reality, though, not just the American education system.
Possibly, I just rail against it because it's the one I was raised in.
Yeah.
There's so many fond memories of my schooling,
Yeah.
which I will keep to myself because they were not fond. I lied.
Mhm. Yeah. Oh, John filled philosophy class too.
I love
Yeah,
this.
I was also John. My first philosophy class was also in my very first semester. Maybe we got the same teacher. He was like this guy. He would come in like both jeans and a denim jacket with a ratty baseball cap. He would bring nothing with him. The only thing he would bring was a clock and a ratty old plastic bag. And then he would take out the clock and place it on the desk and then start the class and just start rambling incoherently. And then he would take like 20-minute cigarette breaks. And I was just like, why am I here? Which is like...
He sounds like he's down with the hip cats.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like,
Oh,
no.
I forgot to say the word yo.
Was the clock in the plastic bag? Is it supposed to be a metaphor for something? You know, if he was in a movie, that would be like a metaphor for something. Yeah. But that was my experience. That was my only philosophy class that I took. And I was just like, this is insanity. I'm paying, God knows how much money for this.
Hey, you know what, guys? This should make us all smile. We have Christians. We have believers in the Norse. We have believers in the Greek. We have atheists. And we have so many different religions in the chat, and no one's fighting about fucking religion.
That is because we have the best goddamn fans out there on the internet.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
We even made references to Trump, and it has not killed itself.
Exactly.
Seriously.
I
Of
know.
course, now that I've actually said the name out loud, it's all going to hell.
I actually just thought of the best Trump.
We even have a Satanist. It's awesome. We
Yep.
have great people.
That's fine.
Ladies and gentlemen of the chat, just so you're all aware, we love you.
You guys are awesome. This is awesome.
Yeah, definitely. I actually thought of a really good Trump joke for my next video essay. So, yeah, I'm pretty proud of that. I was afraid that might cause some ruckus, but, if we have fans like these guys, then I'm not worried anymore. So.
Do you want to spoil the joke?
Oh, Lord.
Well, you probably shouldn't. I'm holding on to things of my own for the Jumper review and the big old Full Metal Alchemist review. So
yeah, I don't
should
know.
all just hold on.
I could read a line, and like a lot of the joke is trivial. A lot of not trivial. A lot of the joke is visual because then I'm gonna cut to an image of Trump and do some, I guess, visual effects on it. But I can read a line of the joke actually if the fans want it. Well, fans, do you want me to read a segment of this joke? Yes or no? Just respond and we'll see what people want.
It looks like AAA1E2R3 wants you to do so.
Okay, sure.
No way to say that phonetically.
A.
One. E2.
Oh, 1, 2, or 3. I don't know.
I'll just say real quick for Sean reviews. Oh, hold on. Yeah, Sean reviews. The breakdown, everyone here. Ashton is the editor for The Book Was Better. Jason helps out occasionally as background writer and as an actor. Diane helps out as an actor sometimes and a co-reviewer, but she also has her own channel.
Yeah, I have my own channel. I make video essays, so please feel free to check them out.
And everyone should check out her. Oh, sorry, man, go ahead.
Oh yeah, yeah. Sorry, I'm totally plugging myself on your channel.
Oh no, it's fine. I was about to do the same thing. I was going to say everyone should go check out her latest video on Beauty and the Beast because it's actually a very clever, in-depth look at something that I normally wouldn't have paid attention to. That being the use of color in the animated Beauty and the Beast versus the live-action one, and why the animated is so much better just on that those grounds alone.
Yeah,
it was actually quite fascinating.
Oh,
Did a good job.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I talk about costume too, and I know it's weird talking about like costumes in an animated movie, but you know what? Like that stuff still matters. I guess
you raised very good points there. Their costumes were tied into them.
Yeah. Like I guess that has more to do with because it's animation as a different medium that has more to do with character design, actually, right? Because a character designer would also design their clothes and what they wear and why. But yeah, still, regardless, it's basically the clothes on their back in film. They tend to say something about the character and the themes and whatnot. So I felt that was using Beauty and the Beast was a good avenue to talk about that sort of thing. So yeah. My next episode, I'll just tease a little bit of it. It's for the men. So
oh right, this thing.
We're men
in tights.
We roam around the forest looking for fights.
Yeah, exactly.
We're men.
We're men in tights.
I don't know what for anyone who's never seen Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, I myself don't watch the show on a regular basis, but they sang this one song I found recently. And it's the funniest song, and I'm wondering if I should use that song for the ending credits versus the song from the actual movie I'm going to talk about. But the song, for if you guys are interested, it's called Let's Generalize About Men. And it's the funniest song ever. You really need to watch it. It's so funny. So yeah, I don't know if I'll eventually, maybe I'll put it up for a vote on the next stream or something when the video is close to being done. But yeah.
Hey guys, Moriarty asked us for advice. He asked us how would he go about starting his own review. Moriarty, my advice would be choose something you like. Choose something you like and you're not afraid that you won't like it by the time you're finished reviewing. For example, if you're really into anime, look into anime shows. If you're really into video games, look into video games. Choose something you like that you can look at objectively and have fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's my advice.
That's a really good starting point. Within those parameters, I would say, in addition to that, choose something that you understand very well. I mean, there's a reason I started with The Golden Compass, because I had read that book like 3 or 4 times before I reviewed it, and it was a very strong starting point for me because I'd be able to talk more about it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like just everything these two just said. And honestly, the biggest step is just starting. And I know like a lot of people, including myself, this is why like I don't produce a lot of content consistently. Like I'm constantly questioning myself, is this going to be bad? Maybe this is going to be a horrible, horrible, horrible idea. But the fact of the matter is like you're never going to know unless you do it. And even if it does turn out not in the way you hoped, like you learn from your mistakes. That's the biggest thing, is learning from your mistakes. And that's how you get smarter, and that's how you get better. And that's something I'm constantly telling myself, is like, just try not to overthink it. Like, yes, ask questions and be honest with yourself, but don't let that stop you, you know? Just don't let your doubts pile up into a wall and stop you from doing what you want to do. Like, write out a script, review it a few times, film it, and then go from there. Honestly, getting started is always the hardest thing.
Also, ignore trolls. If it's actual constructive, good criticism, something you can look at and go, okay, I can take this, I can use it, work with it.
Yeah, definitely. Like, constructive criticism is great. If anything, sometimes I beg for harsh constructive criticism, because, again, that's how I learn, right? What I learned, what they taught me in screenplay class was, like, always be honest. Like, again, start off with something positive that you like about the script, and then go into what they can actually improve on. And again, just be honest, right? Like, I think any real writer, they would actually look more for criticism than actual straight up praise, because they actually want to know if their stuff is going to be bad or not, and what they can improve on.
Exactly.
But at your stage right now, like, don't let yourself worry too much about whether it's going to be bad or not. Just do it. Like, unless you're tackling, like, some really intense, controversial subject, then maybe you should think about that. But then again, I would also advise you not to tackle something super controversial unless you know it really well, and you're confident about your views and how you can support it. But yeah, really the first big step is just doing it, and you know, enjoying the process in and of itself, because it is a lot of work. So what's the point unless you don't just enjoy what you're writing about, talking about, and so on and so forth.
Just remember, if you're not having fun, that's going to come out, and that's going to be obvious you're not enjoying yourself.
Yeah.
And also, if you're going to do it some way that you would like. For example, if you would like to speak in a dull monotone, go for it, but at least make it interesting. Have some fun with it. For example, you could have a little fun by imitating Ben Stein. That would be very entertaining. Or just be you. Have fun.
That's a
with
very
it.
underrated piece of advice right there. Be
you is, for example, one of the things me and Kyle, here's a little fun fact. GC and Crimson Rogue, our characters, they're based on us. Yeah, they're slightly exaggerated with attitudes and personalities and everything, but they're more or less us. GC is more of an asshole than I am. Crimson is more of a drinker than he is. Kyle's a teetotaler. Crimson is a diehard alcoholic.
I mean, real life, I don't drink at all.
I'm the drinker.
And this one's noisy.
Aww.
That's the thing. Just be yourself. Come up with something that you enjoy. Come up with a character that you enjoy.
Yeah, our pleasure, John. Don't worry about it.
And one last bit of advice that I will expand upon. When I said ignore trolls, I'm not talking about the ones that have actual legitimate advice and criticisms. I'm talking about the ones who are just going to sit there and troll on you, offer no advice whatsoever, and just try to sit there and ruin your day. Ignore those.
Exactly. And
You're fat. You have a stupid face. Why don't you go to the gym sometime?
Why don't you sit there and learn what you're talking about? You don't know anything. Me.
Your
You know what I
voice
use
sounds
those reviews
stupid.
for? Would you like to know what I use those reviews for? Kindling. They make great s'mores.
Actually, Ashton managed to pull out a lot of negative reviews from the Lightning Thief review, and blended them wonderfully for the Sea of Monsters review, because people kept trying to say, "Oh, you forgot about the Mist," in this little bit. And some of them, they were trying to be helpful. It's like, well, hey, they actually explained that through the use of the mist. And some of them were just straight up abusive. It was like, hey, dumbass, you forgot about this thing.
You can
That's my job.
like that now?
Oh yeah, I mean,
There was one comment like that on the Prince of Persia review. One person saying, "Hey, dickhead, get your sound leveling right. I can't hear you talk when the Disney song is playing." Makes sense because
Yay, Kyle! That means you made it.
it still sounds
yeah.
just fine to me.
oh
But,
no, I've got actually, I forget, I think it was our last live stream. I got a comment that said, "Oh my God, look at this! Look at your bedroom. I bet a guy like you couldn't get a girlfriend, or if you did, she would be like extremely overweight." It was like,
Class.
really?
Only a fat girl can love you.
I'm sure this guy too. He's probably dating like tons of Victoria's Secret models, right? Like they're just
Oh, absolutely.
they're just begging for like 5 minutes of his time. So yeah, you should totally listen to his advice.
No, actually, I think my girlfriend's watching the stream right now. So, hi, sweetie.
Oh, yeah.
Sean reviews the advice that we gave to John Moriarty. Follow that, and you should be good. Again, it's do what you enjoy, review what you like, and always remember it's your opinion, your honest opinion on something, and not just you repeating what everyone else thinks. It's what you honestly believe.
Yeah. Exactly.
Doing something to, I'll say, in addition to that, doing something to study the material you're reviewing would.
Yeah, your research.
When I started this, I had done absolutely no critical film analysis or any classes thereof or anything like that. I mean, I'd done some literary analysis classes, things like that back in college, but I didn't really get into the nitty gritty of it. Oh, well, the curtains are blue, so the character was feeling this deep wave depression.
I've seen that meme. No, what the author means is
The curtains were fucking blue. Yeah, I didn't really get into that kind of analysis because I think a lot of it is superimposing your own beliefs and what you want certain things to mean, rather than any inherent definition that the author may have attempted to attach, which is why I don't try to use that in the reviews. But
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Should we open this up for the Q&A?
Yeah.
I would say so.
Sean, I will agree with you on the maybe not a 10 out of 10 on the Death Cure, maybe like a 9 or an 8 out of 10, but that movie was good.
Death Cure, and I still haven't seen Black Panther.
Okay,
Oh my
dude,
God,
you
I
haven't
have
seen it.
Death Cure is better than the
Lost
Scorch
out on an excellent
Trials.
opportunity.
I will eventually see them. I know I will. Might be on when they're on DVD because again, my schedule is 4:30 in the afternoon to 1 in the morning. With overtime, that is 12:30 in the afternoon. Or no, it's 1:30 in the afternoon to 3 in the morning. So my time is gone.
Yeah. Well, right now I'm working like average 60-hour days. I mean, sorry, not 60-hour days, 60-hour weeks. Clearly, it's been.
I was gonna say 60-hour days. Girl, do you have a time turner?
Yeah,
We've got Hermione here.
I know.
If you have a time turner, I need your help. If you have a time machine like the TARDIS or something, I need your help. I need you to take me to September so I can sit there and get the Spyro Reignited trilogy. I need your help on that one.
Yeah, I know, right?
I already have it on pre-order, and every time I look at it, it's like.
I think we're getting a little off track here because we got Ray here shouting, "I have Q."
Okay.
What you got, Ray?
What is your Q?
What is your Q? Is it the letter Q? Is it a Q for? Is it a Q for a dungeon?
Okay, the previous message from Ray was books you want to see made into shows / movies.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
I can answer that one right now. Alcatraz Smedgery by Brandon Sanderson. Obviously, very accomplished writer. It's aimed at a younger audience, admittedly, but I think that the ideas inside of it are so bizarre, and the writing for the books, at least, are so clever that if it's handled right, hey.
Oh.
I would have
Getting catty.
I would have to agree with Mr. 13, The Wheel of Time, but one thing I would like to see even better, even more so, and it would have to be done as a series, as a TV series, would be the Drizzt Do'Urden saga. And they would have to have the right director and right actors to pull it off.
Oh, Drizzt Do'Urden.
Shut up, rogue.
Yep. Okay, where's he from? I want to hear this pronounced.
Menzoberranzan.
Close enough.
Oh, in regards to the Wheel of Time, I did hear that they are planning a TV series adaptation of that one.
They would have to do it, and like with the Wheel of Time, the way they have to do it is one season would be one book.
Yeah, kind of pull a Game of Thrones on it.
Yeah. I still have no desire to watch Game of Thrones.
On the bright side, the book series actually is finished this time around, so they could just follow the books.
Yeah.
Yeah. They wouldn't eventually catch up to the books and have to say, "Ah, hell, we gotta make our own stuff now."
Let's see.
Oh my God, Rhea is right. The Bulgarian. Fuck yes.
I would want this book, The Shadow of the Wind, to be made into a miniseries, and I would have to be I would want either Guillermo del Toro or Alfonso Cuarón to direct it. So that would be my choice for a miniseries for a book adaptation. Yeah, I can't really think of anything else right now that I would want turned into a movie. I think I've said this many times before. I would want them to remake Time Traveler's Wife into a miniseries and give it to a director that had a bigger vision for the book's material. Other than that, yeah, those are my choices.
Let's see. I'll answer this real quick. Novelist writer. Yeah. So, thoughts on the FMA live action movie? As you can see from the manga in the background, we are actually preparing to review that next.
Ooh, I'm excited. I haven't seen that one yet, but I heard it's bad. It could not have been as bad as the Attack on Titan live action movie.
Haven't seen that one, but I will say FMA is worse than Death Note.
Yeah, well, Death Note at least had like a freaking budget. So yeah.
This movie clearly had a budget. They just didn't know what the fuck to do with it.
The problem is the writing. This is a point that I make in the FMA review. So you get a bit of insight early on. When Shamalama Ding Dong attempted to adapt The Last Airbender into a movie, he made the stupid decision of trying to push an entire season into one movie.
And he had the camera basically right here the entire time on every single person's face.
That also didn't help. But
I swear you could sit there and see the breath on the lens.
Yeah, that is the joke.
He at least was smart enough to not try to smush the entire series into a single 2-hour movie.
God. That would have been so disjointed and
the Full Metal Alchemist review does that. There are sections, and it's not just. If I keep going on this, I'm gonna give too much away. But it's not just that they try to condense the entire series. They condense the entire series, but they pull elements from the original anime and from Brotherhood. So after a while, you're like, what story are you telling?
Oh fuck.
No.
I hate when people mix and match.
Is bad.
Like, you remember how in the original anime, Shao Tucker turned out to not be dead, but was actually now a bear man?
The Bear Man abomination with the upside down head that needs to be burned with fire.
Yeah. Whereas, okay, I am grateful to that scene because it did help me
think-
to overcome my
I'll
trauma
go back
regarding.
on that, so they can see what happens in the review if they haven't seen the movie yet.
Okay, but still, regarding the original anime when he becomes the weird, stupid bear man, I am grateful to that scene for helping me to overcome my trauma regarding the Nina and Alexander scene. Because after that, I could never take Show Tucker again, take Show Tucker seriously again as a character. Now that he is a bear man with an upside down head, that was the dumbest thing that they could have made up.
That was bizarre.
Still needs to be burnt with fire.
Anyway, next question. Actually, some of us saw the Bleach live action trailer. We talked about it earlier in this one.
Oh, I had no idea there was a Bleach live action movie now.
Check it out. The problem is it's made by the same people who did the Full Metal Alchemist live action movie. So I
Yeah.
have no faith that it's going to be good.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about live action anime adaptations. I guess it's like almost the same feeling I have with live action Disney remakes. It's like, what's the point? Because
The only
sorry, go on.
I was going to say the only good live action anime movie I've seen, Rurouni Kenshin.
Yeah, Rurouni Kenshin hit it out of the park. For what,
Really good.
especially for the little bit of time they were able to get to shove so much, so much information into like a 2-hour timeline. It's pretty good, actually. They handled that very well. But yeah, I like, especially when you're adapting a TV show into a movie, that's never a good idea. There's a reason why they made it a TV show to begin with. It's because, it just works better in that medium, and also animation. There's just some things work better in animation. That's why it exists.
I remember all the way through the FMA movie, I was thinking, is Major Armstrong ever going to show up? No.
The strong arm alchemist.
And then I realized
whose alchemy has been passed down through the family for 7 generations.
I have a fun rant on that. I'll save that for the review, but
oh gosh, when he met I can't remember their names. There are so many names, but their teacher's husband. What was his name again?
I can't remember his name.
But like when those two met,
with the flex.
When those two met in both versions, it was just beautiful.
The flex,
so beautiful. Both versions had me just busting a gut laughing. I was so
the flex. That's all you have to say, and everyone knows.
Oh, the flexing, yeah. Oh god.
Sig is what teacher's husband's name was. Sig.
Okay,
flex. That's
Sig.
all you have
Thank
to. That's all you have to do is say the flex.
Yeah, such a good. Like, do you guys like? My friends have been harping on my back to watch Brotherhood. Have you guys watched both series?
yes.
I watched all of
okay. Ashton, you go ahead.
Okay, my Full Metal Alchemist experience has been, I was introduced to it through the original series. I watched the first 20 or so episodes, and I had heard that it does go downhill after that point. And that was when Bearman Show Tucker showed up, and I'm like, fuck this, man. And that was the first series. And then when I found out that we were going to be doing, when I managed to talk Kyle into doing the Full Metal Alchemist movie, because I wanted to talk about the anime because I loved the original series, what I saw of it so much, then that's when I decided I should watch the rest of Brotherhood. I should binge through Brotherhood. And I did have a hard time at first because those first dozen or so episodes are very much so just quick recap of stuff that was already covered in the original anime, and especially some of the most horrifying things from the original anime. You know the scene, Nina and Alexander.
Yeah.
And that is...
There's a reason Show Tucker is on every single list for most deplorable parent ever in anime.
Yeah,
Yes.
I know, right?
So, I I binge watched all of Brotherhood, and I had a marvelous time. I was on the verge of tears about a dozen different times at a dozen different scenes. I had my jaw on the goddamn floor during some of the more shocking revelations, like the flashback with their father, which I'll not tell much more about. It's just really awesome. So much of that show is awesome. There was only one episode that I really did not like. That was the clip show episode, but what can you do?
I think
I remember I've only watched through the first series, and that was like in my college days, so it was a long time ago. But I have very fond memories of that series, and I remember I was like super into it. But I keep hearing Brotherhood is way better. So I don't know if I'll have like nostalgic bias towards it when I can finally sit down to watch it. But I've heard nothing but good things about the series.
Excellent series. Everyone should definitely watch, and I'll make this as clear as I can. Everyone should watch Brotherhood or read the manga before they see the Full Metal review that we do, because we're going to be spoiling a lot of good moments.
Oh shoot.
I will say the best viewing order, first 20 or so episodes of the original series, because they cover those parts of the storyline much better than than Brotherhood does. And then once they get to the Alchemy Laboratory, just keep going until you get tired of it and switch over to Brotherhood.
Mm-hmm.
That's the viewing order.
Yeah.
Right.
One thing that was asked earlier, Kyle, do me and you plan on doing a collaboration for the Crimson Brothers gaming channel? That is entirely up to Kyle and his brother. That's entirely up to them. I would have no issues going in with it, but they're both on Xbox, I think, heathens, and I'm on PS4. So there's that.
We have a PS4. The way that, because we've got 1,000 wires behind our TV right now, the way that it's set up, we're just recording on the Xbox. So, I mean, we're not opposed to it. It's just going to be a matter of like getting the vocals over correctly, and things like that. Because unfortunately, the system we have to record, video comes with an option, a little audio port for a microphone. The problem is it's crap.
Oh, yeah.
So we've had to go with a separate mic system. We have been using this microphone for a while. Unfortunately, we keep getting the static and interference from the EMF and all that. So we're actually upgrading, thanks to a suggestion from Ashton, and we will be going with a much more professional, much more elaborate microphone system shortly.
Okay. Jafar, in answer to your question that you keep asking in regards to a series of unfortunate events Netflix series, I don't watch Netflix, so I have no thoughts on it.
I watched the first, maybe half of the first season. That show, by the way, is also made here in Vancouver. I've been wanting to get on that set, but unfortunately no luck so far. I thought it was good. It's a little, the humor gets super duper repetitive. And I think that was the thing that kind of killed it for me. But the show in itself, I think, from a filmmaking point of view, is objectively solid. Like the sets, the costumes, the performances, and the writing, they're all really good. I think it just, for me, it got a little bit repetitive, if not, but to give credit where it's due, the repetitiveness, I think it is thematically appropriate, because like the running joke of the entire show is that the adults never listen to the kids, which is like the big theme of that entire series, that adults never take kids seriously, even when they're saying, help, we're in danger, please help us. So yeah.
We have been getting multiple comments so far asking about the Meg trailer that came out. I will say real quick, This is a guilty pleasure for me. I love these books. They are absolutely idiotic, and I don't care. Stupid but fun. And I've read this book twice now. I read this first time back when I was in high school. The trailer has me concerned because I already see a lot of things changing, and I like. Who do they have playing the main character? God damn it! Nah. Jason Statham. That's it. I like Jason Statham. He's a great actor and does a lot of really good action movies. The problem is I don't see him playing a very effective Jonas Taylor because Jonas Taylor, although he is former Navy and does have a military background, he eventually goes more into a scientist role when this book really starts up, which is what they're going to have to pull the movie material from. And Statham is much more action hero, soldier kind of build. I don't see him playing a scientist very effectively.
Oh, by the way, the movie The Meg is going to be directed by John Turteltaub, who some of you may remember as the director of the National Treasure movies, The Sorcerer's Apprentice, Last Vegas, which nobody saw, and the hit romantic comedy While You Were Sleeping.
Oh, he directed While You Were Sleeping?
So the
Wow,
chat.
While You Were... The Sandra Bullock movie from like 92?
The what?
The Sandra Bullock movie from 1992?
95, actually.
95. Good. Wow, I thought that movie was older. I would have been 8 at the time. Oh, great. Now I dated myself. But yeah.
I just wouldn't have been. I'm that young.
So, in regards to My Hero Academia, the chat has asked me to be cruel. So I'm gonna be cruel and sit there and screw with Kyle's head at the same time.
Oh God!
Little fun fact: there's a theory going around, and it's all based on the name Midoriya Hisashi. Do you know what the kanji translate for that name is?
No.
Uh-oh.
A long time ago is what the kanji translates as.
Oh, come on. We all know about the Star Wars references in
No,
the show.
no, that's not it. There's only one character in the entire series that could fit a long time ago, who's been around for about 200 years and is currently sitting in Tartarus. So I'm just going to leave it right there.
Okay. But still, I do think it could very easily just be a Star Wars reference.
No, I think I agree with the theory that All for One is the father of Izuku. I like that theory. It's fun.
And it might work also, that being a Star Wars reference. I mean, remember, he was building himself up to become strong enough to inherit All Might's power at Dagobah Beach. And the opening scene, I believe it took place in like Tatooine Station or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's one of the
series
leading theories is
Star Wars references. So I would definitely believe that his name being a long time ago is just
another
Star Wars reference.
But
I think there is enough precedent for that to be.
There is.
Yeah, enough to not say 100% that this is definitely the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good enough alternate explanation. Still though.
But it also does fit off of All for One being the father of Izuku, because think about it. All for One has been around for about 200 years? From the point where quirks first started appearing, therefore the mutation of the toe joint wouldn't have really started until later. That's when the toe joint started fading out or fading in, as the case may be. So, considering that age, and the fact that we've never seen Hisashi Midoriya, we only know he exists. And if you really look into it, we've only really seen so much of All for One. We don't know what he originally looked like when All Might sat there and beat the living fuck out of him.
Yeah. I have a question for you guys and for the entire chat, actually.
What's up?
I already tagged Crimson in this, but he totally ignored me. No,
I'm half asleep here. You have to give me a break.
yeah, I know, I
Sleeping
know.
is for the weak.
So I think it was the website Film School Rejects. For those of you who want to learn more about filmmaking, you should totally go on their website. Film School Rejects, they created this Twitter tag called Filmstruck4, where they ask the impossible question to name 4 films that define you, not necessarily your favorite, but they define you. So take that into you can decipher for yourself what that actually means. For me, that would mean movies that have spoken to me personally, movies that I relate to or made me discover something real and meaningful about myself. What would be your 4 films? Ash already told me his, but please share, Ash.
All right, let me see if I can find them, because I think I can remember them off the top of my head, but I should also actually look for them.
Yeah.
Oh, we're talking about... I went too far.
What's your question, Diane?
Name 4 movies that define you. 4 movies that define you, basically.
Okay, I found what I wrote in response to her question of what 4 films define me. First is probably the most recent one on the list, La La Land. It's what I try to be, a calm, cool throwback to an older style. All that jazz is what I end up being, someone who puts pleasure over sustainability and can only just barely manage to keep it going. F for fake is the persona I project to the world, the suave showman who holds all the cards and always keeps that sly smile. And Princess Bride is just my happy place.
Mm-hmm.
Well, duh. Princess Bride is everyone's happy place.
Yeah, it's a hard one to beat. I put Aladdin on there as one of them. My first 4 choices were Aladdin, Sound of Music, Snow White, and Shaun of the Dead. Which one is not like the other? And I guess I could have maybe replaced, Aladdin is my happy place, but actually I think of another film that I could have replaced Aladdin with was Kiki's Delivery Service. So yeah, those are my 4/5 films that define me. Kyle, which one have you decided?
I always have trouble answering these kinds of questions because I'm not able to easily categorize myself like that. A lot of it depends on my mood, and I don't know. There's just so many things that fit in so many ways. So I honestly don't know.
I know. I mean, you could also apply this to books too, right? I saw a few people, they applied this to video games as well. So.
If we were going to do video games, then I would bring Final Fantasy IX up.
I knew that was happening.
Yeah,
that was going to come.
Oh, duh! I mean, it was only one of the most important video games during my formative years as a teenager.
Yep.
And for all of our Patreon supporters, see if you can remember this little reference. 9999999.
Finally, a joke not directed at me.
Yeah.
As I said, that was a page break, and you know it. The reason is because fanfiction.net back then, their page breaks were shit.
Yeah,
Kyle can attest to that.
Well, that's a very helpful peek into the behind the scenes. I notice you chose IX being the Roman numeral for 9, so phonetically it still remains 9999999. Unless you prefer XXXXX. But that's less
It was
funny.
actually funny because I
offer you a Russian peace sign, sir. I offer you the Russian peace sign.
I offer you 2.
It's a lovely bouquet.
You know, it's funny because I actually took the Roman numeral from Final Fantasy IX, you know, IX, and I made that a character in my story, IX. DC, do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember it.
It was one of the Spectral Knights.
Yeah, I remember IX. IX was fun.
I enjoyed writing all of them, actually, but yeah, never got to finish.
IX was entertaining.
I also really enjoyed Remus.
Yeah.
I'm surprised I can still remember their names. Anyway, I think we got time for one more question.
We have all the time in the world.
Well, you guys might. I have to be awake in less than 4 hours.
Oh God.
Sleep is for the weak.
Thank God coffee's a thing.
Yeah, I actually don't work Monday, so it's like, oh, thank God, a 3-day weekend. My first 60-hour week, my first week on the job, like I spent I spent the following Saturday and Sunday just sleeping through it. It really tore me up. Yeah. So questions. Yeah. Oh yeah, Keith.
Shit, I shouldn't have said it.
You can't think of 4 films? Come on.
Because this is the second time I've slipped through one of your questions.
I'm sorry. Come on. Do you have 4 films that define you, that speak to you personally?
Okay. Since I'm going to be nice and since you caught me.
Yeah.
Only because I said something, but since I'm going to answer the first question you ever asked me that I managed to slip through and you didn't notice.
Okay.
The Power Ranger that I felt that I would always pretend to be.
Okay.
The Power Ranger I would always sit there and emulate was always the Black Ranger.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Zach?
Because you were missing a finger?
What?
Zach, the original Black Ranger, is missing a finger.
Is he now?
Yes, go back and look.
I had no idea.
I
No
only
one
saw
did.
Linkara's videos on the
And
subway.
Keith is missing a finger too? I didn't know that.
No, I am not.
Oh, okay. What the hell? Why would you bring that up? What's the context? I'm confused.
But that was the very
making
first
fun of
question
him.
I ever slipped through that you asked me.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yep. I
Well,
sat there and
that
slipped through
was
that
really-
one, and you didn't notice. So there's
Right.
that.
Right.
In answer to the 4 films, I would have to say My Happy Place belongs to, and I'm gonna get last for this one. It's actually a toss-up between Robin Hood Men in Tights,
No, good one.
Young Frankenstein,
Uh-huh.
and Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Yes.
What's the 4th one?
No, those are my toss-ups for the Happy Place.
Oh, toss-ups for the happy place. Yeah.
Well, now you gotta pick one.
Fuck you, Ashton. For the movies themselves, The Prestige is
Oh, interesting.
Good one.
Prestige is what I try to emulate.
Just being a good showman, that type of thing? Or?
Being a good showman, always having something up my sleeve, showing one side and not showing the other.
Mm,
I would say what I actually present myself as is closer to probably Now You See Me. Just the way I act and everything.
mm-hmm.
And the third movie would probably have to be Inception. The way my mind works.
Wow.
I don't think in one linear line. I don't see 1 or 2 paths. I see 1,000 different ways something could go. I see a labyrinth where someone sees a straight road. That's the way my mind works.
Oh, that's really interesting.
And trust me, it has driven Kyle insane on a few occasions where we've been editing and coming up with background story and everything. It drives him up the wall sometimes.
Yeah, I bet.
There will be times where I'll sit there and I'll come up with something, and then I'll sit there and just go off on a tangent into 1,000 different things. And he goes, where does this all fit? And then I show him how it fits, and he says,
just,
go to hell.
if we don't establish it right, it won't come across well. Anyway, I think the last question should go to, I forget who asked this. There we go. Cold Coffee Gag Productions for all the good this person has done for the chat thus far. Very entertaining. What is your favorite genre of music?
You mispronounced that, Kyle. It's what is your favorite genre of music?
Oh, my mistake. What is your favorite genre of music?
Genre.
I'm not entirely certain what a genre is. That's why I wanted to be clear on that. You know?
Well, I mean, if you're all ready to go and you're all dismissed, then everyone is adjourned.
Damn.
I like puns.
Damn.
Play on words.
And Ashton, you wanted to kill me earlier for the one I made. That one was worse.
Well, you know, there's a certain parabola effect with the pun levels. If your pun is good but not quite perfect, then it's still in that lower valley, kind of like the uncanny valley. The closer you get to perfect, the worse it gets. Unless
Mine
it is
was
perfect.
horrible.
Yes, but his was worse.
Diane, for your information, we were speaking about Marvel movies, and he sat there and said marvelous, and I went dum dum.
Oh yeah,
And he froze.
that's funny.
Well, anyhow, we're getting off subject. What is our favorite genres of music? I'll start.
One.
I when I was a kid, I loved country music, but I kind of grew out of that, and now sometimes I'm into jazz, and sometimes I'm into show tunes, and very recently I started getting into metal. Like not long ago, I went to my first metal concert because my one of my coworkers was in one of the bands that was performing. He gave me a discounted ticket to go see it there. It was fun. I was sore for days afterwards. It was apparently one of the nicer mosh pits, and I was still knackered. But,
oh yeah. Oh god.
Although,
Go check out Blind Guardian if you want some good power metal.
I'm also in terms of power metal. I'm also the band that got me into it. It's because I watch a lot of anime, and one of the shows I was watching for a while was Hunter x Hunter, and their second ED, Hunting for Your Dream, was done by Gallinarius, and I just, oh God, I loved that second ED. So I looked up the entire band's history. I listened to just about everything they had. My two favorite albums are Angel of Salvation and what's the other one? Under the Force of Courage. If you want to hear really good stuff from that band, look up Hunting for Your Dream and Raise My Sword. Those are the two best songs that they've done, in my opinion.
What about you? Favorite genre of music?
Oh Lord, I don't know. I love music, but I'm not like what you would call like a music aficionado or something. Like let's see. I can name off some people that I like to listen to on a regular basis. I like Bruno Mars. I have Hamilton on repeat every day. The soundtrack to the Broadway show. Almost. Yeah, the Disney music of the 90s. Oh God, who else do I listen to? I like a few songs from Sia. I like a few songs from Kesha, the newer ones. Let's see. I like some J-pop because of anime. Classical music I like a lot. I grew up with that. And Michael Jackson, Queen. Did I mention Queen already? I forget. Yeah, but Michael Jackson, Queen, the Beatles. Yeah, that's basically what I like. I guess most of it is pop music, so I guess it was pop music.
I'm sorry, I can't stop laughing. Every time I hear that song, I think of that time William Shatner did a cover of it.
William Shatner did a cover of Bohemian Rhapsody.
Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? Caught in a landslide. No escape from reality.
I don't think I'd be able to resist charging the stage and breaking his kneecaps.
It got so bad later on.
No rhythm, sir! Stop it!
Think about it. He, every time he even speaks, he always has that pop. Every time.
Open your eyes. Look up to the skies and see. I'm just a poor boy. I need no sympathy.
GC,
Because I
favorite genre, go.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, dude, that's just getting annoying.
Yeah.
Everybody, just look it up. William Shatner, Bohemian Rhapsody. You'll have a ball.
or an epilepsy, whichever happens first. My favorite genre of music can't really be named. And no, I'm not just saying that as a cop-out. I am extremely eclectic in my music taste. I like pretty much everything.
No.
I can't stand 90% of country, can't stand 90% of rap. I hate most scream, and I hate everything from emo. People say that doesn't make me eclectic. When it comes to country, I like the Charles Daniels Band.
What do you mean everything emo? What does that mean?
Basically the
My Chemical Romance, Linkin Park.
I love
you on Linkin Park.
I love those
Fuck you on Linkin Park. I enjoy Linkin Park.
I'm not saying they're
I love
bad.
My Chemical Romance too. I don't care
Linkin
what.
Park is not emo.
Little emo.
And I like my Linkin Park.
Slightly.
I listen to a lot of my
Ever so
Linkin Park.
slightly, yes.
Very slightly. But no, I've actually found something interesting about myself. When I am driving or when I'm working, I prefer rock. When I'm at work at my desk, I can't listen to rock. I can't get the rhythm. Because I deal with paperwork all day. I can't get the rhythm. So instead I have to sit there and pull up video game soundtracks, and that's what I listen to at work. Hey, it's what works for me, but hey. But because I already know exactly what would happen, I've done it before. I start typing the lyrics during work. That's not a good thing.
Right. I also like a lot of R&B too.
I'm afraid that genre was killed for me after the 50 Shades review. That whole genre died for me.
Why?
Every time I hear that sound, I just think of slow, painfully dull sequences of airplanes in the sky and helicopters and I'm Rich montages and really dull sex scenes.
Right.
50 Shades ruined that music.
What song are you talking about specifically?
Any kind, basically anything that sounds like that kind of style of music. Because one of my coworkers plays that at my workplace from time to time, and turns out she actually did listen to the specific band that wrote music for that. And when I turned to her, I said, "God, this sounds like 50 Shades of Grey." She says, "Yep, that's them."
Yeah, you know what? That song too, "Love Me Like You Do." I love that song. That song was like way too good for that movie. I wish it's associated with something else because that movie has no business being here with that movie. It's a great song.
This should prove how eclectic my music taste is, because people don't often know what this song is, but I'll still sing it. Fly me to the moon.
Oh yeah.
Let me dance among the stars.
Let me see what spring is like
on Jupiter and Mars.
In other words, hold my hand.
I think that's on this.
It's Fly Me to the Moon. I prefer the Frank Sinatra version.
Yeah.
Though I will have to say that the video game Bayonetta did a gorgeous rendition of it. Absolutely gorgeous.
And didn't they, like Evangelion, they would play like different covers of that song for their ending credits? The original series.
I
That
think
was
so.
like their theme song. That was like their ending theme song. They would always play it at the end of the.
need to watch Evangelion.
Yeah. It's
But yeah, chat. Look up Bayonetta's rendition of "Fly Me to the Moon." It is absolutely gorgeous how they did it. I loved it. But yeah,
things like
I
that. Really love Ave Maria from Hitman Blood Money. There is no better version of that song to me.
I can't remember the title off the top of my head, but they did a rendition for it for Final Fantasy 15, and it was beautiful. Can't remember the song off the top of my head. That's what sucks, but it's an older song, and they show it in one of the trailers.
Mm-hmm. Have you guys listened to? It's a YouTube channel too. Postmodern Jukebox.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, they're good, right? For those of you who don't know, you can check them out. Postmodern Jukebox. Jukebox. Am I saying it right? Jukebox. Juke.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah, it's a group of musicians. They take modern everyday songs, like the top 40 songs, and they cover them in like a more vintage, retro styles of music, like more blues, jazzy, like 50s, 40s, 20s, depending on the song. Yeah, they're really, really good. And my favorite cover they've done so far is the one on Taylor Swift, Style. That one is like my favorite song they've done. So you guys should check it out. It's really fun. Yeah. But yeah, is that it, everyone?
Well, I mean, there is one question which I think Kyle and I have something to talk about regarding.
Oh yeah.
Yes, favorite anime opening.
Stand by Me.
Damn it. That's
That's the song I was thinking of.
I mean,
That's the
I
song
have a
that-
pretty good answer. Hang on a second.
The cover song that was done for Final Fantasy 15 was "Stand by Me." The way that it was done is just absolutely beautiful. I like good cover songs too, when they're good. When they're shit, get it away from me. Yeah, look up "Stand by Me."
Send me a link at some point.
Yeah, I will. But they did it during the trailer for Final Fantasy 15. It was just beautiful how they set it up. Ooh, Brad, that's a hard one. But I'm gonna have to go with Dean. Dino's was better.
Okay, so
favorite anime opening. So are we still on that?
yeah.
This is something we've been debating for a little over a month.
Yeah.
Wow, really?
For quite some time, in fact, ever since we started talking about this particular anime. I'm gonna open with a couple runners up for me. Like, for instance, I think we're all required to absolutely love and adore Tank from Cowboy Bebop.
I've never seen Cowboy Bebop, so
what the hell? Do it. So, so another runner-up for me is I really do enjoy the opening for Hunter x Hunter. Daichi o fumishi mete, kimi wa matsamete yuku, tenshi no hoemi de suredashite. That's so much fun. It's a really enjoyable one.
Ashton, if you think it's bad that I haven't seen Cowboy Bebop, I haven't seen Hunter x Hunter.
You should see Cowboy Bebop before you watch Hunter x Hunter. Hunter x Hunter is like 140 episodes. Cowboy Bebop is like 24. You can watch Cowboy Bebop in an afternoon if you want.
It's really watchable. It's very episodic, one-shot episodes, but the bigger story, it's like building in the background constantly. It's just such a fun anime too. It's not too heady or convoluted. It's a very watchable anime.
Okay, but the one that I decided was my favorite Kimi no te de kirisaite Toii no kyoku wo Kanashimi no iki no ne wo tomete kure yo sa ai ni kogarete mune wo suranuke.
Oh my god.
I'll give you points for the fact that you actually had that memorized. So
Yeah, you actually sing
Good
the
job.
lyrics. I butcher the language and would probably come off racist if I tried to sing any of my favorite openings.
I will disagree. I will say that Melissa is a good song. It is not as much fun as Ready, Steady, Go.
Oh, Ready, Steady, Go. Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, for the chat, we've been fighting over what is the better FMA opening, and he chooses to be wrong, goes with the second best, and ignores the obvious superiority.
Ready, steady, come me back. Ready, steady, give me good luck. Ready, steady, never look back. Let's get started. Ready, steady, go.
Now he butchers
Are
it.
you making this up, or do you have the lyrics in front of you?
Yeah, please
have
have
the
the
lyrics
lyrics
in front of me.
correct, okay? Let's
I have the
respect
lyrics
the culture.
Yukufuke. Korogaru yo ni mai, hey.
You are reading it, okay?
Yeah. Kurushima gire demo hio tekihamo mino momino gasa akasanai. I need to. It's tricky to figure out
Yeah.
what's two syllables, what's one syllable. Sometimes I haven't caught on to all the patterns yet, but I'm trying.
Right. How many openings did the first series have?
A lot.
A lot, yeah. I can't say anything about the Brotherhood openings. Again, I haven't seen it, but
The first opening is crap.
It's garbage.
oh, is it? Shoot, that's unfortunate. My favorite anime openings. I've been thinking of. I've played with the idea of doing like my top 10 favorite anime openings. Most of them are from like the 90s because again, that's just where I come from. I would say the first two openings of Sailor Moon, the original Sailor Moon, is like
Oh God. I haven't seen that in
freaking
years.
goddamn gorgeous. Oh god, it's so good. I would say the second opening is even slightly better than the first one. And the fact that they use the same theme song for the entire run of the first series, that's like unheard of. But like if you were to pick an earworm that was going to remain timeless, that is the song. Like I never get tired of listening to that song even after all these years. The first and third opening of Attack on Titan are amazing, especially the third opening. I thought nothing would top the first opening of Attack on Titan, but the third opening for the third season was absolutely amazing. And Inuyasha, all their openings were pretty damn strong. All their songs were always really catchy, and the animation was top notch. And yeah, so those are my picks so far, I guess.
I think we might have to cut it there, unfortunately, as much as I'm enjoying this conversation, because, again, I have work in the morning.
Yeah,
Wait,
I have writing to do, so. And
wait, Keith, what's your favorite?
Yeah, I almost slipped through.
yeah, don't let him slip through. Keith, for God's sake, answer a question.
You're gonna keep an eye on me now, aren't you?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'd have to say I don't have an absolute favorite, but my three that I've enjoyed the most are first season My Hero Academia,
Good one.
the second season My Hero Academia, and I would have to say the first season Overlord opening.
Right.
Those three are they're fun. They're
Yeah.
entertaining.
Yep.
Especially with the visuals they use in the first one for My Hero Academia. The visuals and the way everything sits is just perfect.
Oh, another opening which was amazing. Shoot, what is that anime again? Hang on, let me quickly look this up because this is going to drive me crazy. It's the one, chat, help me out. It's the one, it's a recent anime, it's kind of new. It's about the comic book artist who turns back into a kid to stop a murder from happening. What is that one called?
Conan.
What?
Oh, that's the detective.
No, no,
That's,
no. It's
I think
not.
that's something else entirely. Are you thinking of maybe like, isn't it called Real Life or something?
No, no,
Because I
no.
know that's somebody turning back into a. Oh no, I think I know what you're talking about. I don't know the name of it though.
He goes back in time.
Yeah,
and
all the way to childhood. Because the one I was thinking of was back to like.
Erased. Thank you. The
Erased?
opening for Erased is absolutely amazing. Love that opening.
How did I confuse Erased with Real Life? I should go commit seppuku or some shit. I don't fucking
No.
No Game, No Life is also a good anime.
Yeah, that opening is amazing. If I'm trying to like think of animes that aren't like 20 years old at this point. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay,
No, why
cut
not
it.
go whole hog?
Guys, I'm gonna cut it now because Kyle looks like he's about to fall asleep at his keyboard.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, thank you guys so much for joining us again. Sorry I was late again. I apologize.
Night, everyone. Don't feel bad.
I'll sing you
I was
out
late
with the
too.
Lupin the Third theme. Bum bum Lupin the Third.
I haven't seen Lupin the Third either.
The Third. Lupin, 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 Lupin. Lupin the Third.
Let's cut it now because he's probably going to break into like a whole Broadway show
right.
at this point.
Good night, everyone.
Lupin the Third.
Gotta cut it before I start singing Hamilton.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. You have to cut
Then
it.
Diane's gonna join in, and then we'll never get away from it.
I would totally break out into Hamilton at this point too. Maybe for the next stream. Anyway, good night, everyone.
I've never
Night,
seen
everybody.
Hamilton.
Oh, Ash, I will totally change that for you. Don't worry. Night, everyone.
Chip, chip, cheerio.
Later all.